We would appreciate it.
Welcome to Nycos DND, the I-9 COVID-19 incursion episode of Shatterhorn. Today's titled East of Trantor. Before we get to our story so far, I'd ask the players to give their character name, class, race, and which part of Ericus they are from.
Veracus.
Ericus,
What's Ericus?
Erica?
the reference that you gave to what happened last week. I was making a joke.
Oh,
Arrakis?
Arrakis.
I wasn't there last week.
Arrakis.
Yeah, but it's Arrakis. That's how
Arachnic?
it, that's the way it was pronounced in the movie. Arrakis.
Mm-hmm.
Arachnic?
No offense,
Arrakis.
Jonathan, but I didn't.
Oh, I thought you were saying
last week.
arachnic.
Guys, it was a horrible joke. Never mind.
I know, I'm making a joke of it sounded like arachnic.
Sometimes I just can't tell.
What were
Okay.
you saying, Jacob?
He had never
no
seen the
offense.
film. He's never seen the film. He doesn't even know what Dune is. Doesn't know what a sandworm is, other than what you've
Oh,
last week.
really?
So, yeah.
Okay, we'll let him say that.
Okay. Sorry.
Are you? So who's next?
Jacob, you can probably get the book from a library.
That's okay, guys.
Don't do it. Just look at the movie if you're gonna do
Please,
anything.
please, no, stop. Guys, okay. Introduce yourselves. Character name, class, race. I love the professionalism today. I'm just as guilty.
all right,
I'm
all right.
sorry for stepping over people. We try to not talk over each other. We try to speak in turn and try to carry on our part of the conversation. Because I made it. No, because I made an error. I want to actually have Jacob go first, then Stephen, then Gene, and then Travis. Please.
Okay.
Okay then. I am Rocky Evergreen. I'm a
What if I go back?
dwarf ranger, and that's about it. I mean,
It's fine, Stephen.
I am Freya Killborn. No, wait, sorry. Wrong
Fire.
character. I'm Freya Fireheart. I am a wild sorcerer that's on her journey to find herself and where she is in the world. And hopefully make all orphans have a home. Give all orphans a home.
Okay, next.
I am Heart. Heart help fixing the world.
Gene.
I am Valara Arendisa Thorson. I am a fighter, scout archetype, I guess it's called. And yes, we are. I have things appearing out of books I've read or movies I've seen, and it's kind of like mind-boggling.
Hmm. All right. So the gnomish designed airship. I remember if I can recall correctly, it's manned by a group of gnomes, and you guys had to figure out how to do physical spacing on the silly thing the first couple of days, getting used to it, and then flew over a little bit of a desert and ended up fighting with dogs. Really big dogs. No, they weren't dogs. They were worms. Yes, that's what it was. So worm, and you guys defeated and killed it and reaped the reward of it, pulling the basically this material from inside one of its inner body sacs that seemed to be valuable to somebody in the crew. I think was one of the ones that mentioned that it might be useful or valuable. But we are in the edge of the Turkanian. I mean, pull up my map here so that I'm actually looking at the right thing, so I'm not completely talking strictly out of my hat. And magnify.
It was Shiro, a girl who is not here right now.
They're asking about the other player.
Yeah, who was a little gnome girl in the squirrel suit.
That's right, the squirrel-suited gnome. Yep, she hasn't come
Oh,
back this week yet. More than likely, she's carried off some of the spice on her own. Who knows? She may show up, so we don't know. Okay, close that. All right, so we are crossing the first of the desert hexes there, east of Eldrasar. Okay, because that's right, because that's in the sands that was south of us, and you just went kind of to explore. Also, you were going around the mountains, but did not want to go over the ocean. Not that it mattered.
No,
We're perfectly fine with going over the ocean, but
we
yeah.
are perfectly fine.
we're sailing south around that mountain. As the point was, rather than trying to go over the mountains into Tralara, but you are entering their domain. That first hex beyond, therefore, the sand you can see is a rising, mixed forest of both deciduous and fir trees. The territory is somewhat of like a swale, if you will, between those other three mountains, and there is a considerably expansive lake. It's odd for it to be so close to those artificially maintained sands, but if I recall correctly, there were pylons around the outside of the water, outside of the sands that you had discovered.
Are we seeing this or not seeing this?
Oh, you're not seeing it. I did not put it up. I was looking at it for my own sake. But if you want,
Okay.
I can put it up easy enough and then take it back down. Just a second. Share screen. That one. All right. So you guys had passed. You were in this hex here, and we're moving south across the dunes to avoid having to cross over the mountains, because that was really your other alternative. And so now you're going to be entering this first this first vale, this grassy, not grassy, but forested hex here.
Okay.
And you can see even though you're so close to that clearly desiccated desert, you can nonetheless see a lake in the valley below,
Oh,
fairly sizable and deep water, which means that it's red like blood,
okay.
and the stream that feeds out of it is slowly moving back southeastward towards the coastline.
See, that's the one thing I cannot get used to. She says, looking down at the lake,
Yeah.
purple, red lakes. It just blows my mind.
Mm. Well, so would all the.
It's nothing compared to a silver lake.
Well, that wasn't water. This is water that has a color I've never seen on my planet.
Are lakes supposed to be in the desert?
Lakes can be relatively close, and the desert, if the water goes the other way because there's some sort of hills blocking water going that way.
In the meta, there's lakes that are red because of a high salt content or
algae.
mineral content.
Actually, it's algae.
Yeah.
Algae or minerals. Both of them could do it.
Yeah.
But
So
her only reference is she's talking about in general when she speaks of, when you think of lakes on our world on Earth, they are blue or green.
Yeah.
They're not red. That's all she's doing, and it's mainly to differentiate herself again from Nycosians, to draw attention to that. She's been here for months now, and she's seen red water quite a bit, but this is the first inland lake of this kind of a size. So.
And it kind of blew my, and snow was white, so she wasn't sure about why the snow was white and yet the water is purpley.
Yeah,
red.
And every 3-year-old asks the same question on Earth.
Yeah. Why is the ocean blue?
No, why is the ocean blue and snow white?
Yeah.
Because her mom didn't like her.
Exactly. Nice. Nice.
What is is there people down there or anything?
Oh, there probably is. You're just out. You're airborne, and you're just now entering the hex. So that's a 49-mile hex. That's a lot of territory to cover. As usual, I need you to describe to me how you want to approach the hex. Are we going to be going north of the lake, or going south of the lake and crossing the little stream? If you go across the north, of course, eventually you'll have to cross the inlet that feeds that lake. But then there's those mountain ranges. I need to know how you're approaching it because that way I know what to describe.
Okay, I think we go south in the Greenlands and then start cutting across over there. Because aren't we going far, far?
Inland? Yes.
Yes, you have a long way to go.
Well, let's always go as much inland as we can, I suppose.
She takes out her topographical map and tries to locate this area and sees what she have with the
You have a
map.
topographical map?
Yeah,
Oh.
I had a map since the beginning, but it doesn't make much sense when you can't travel more than your walking speed all day long.
Well,
I mean,
furthermore, the topographical maps you would have had would have been over your landing zone. Would be
yeah,
no use here at all because
okay,
it would only have been the eastern Shatterhorn, the eastern edge of the Shatterhorn where you were supposed to land. Remember?
okay,
So yeah, that what you have would be insufficient to help in this specific location.
okay.
Besides that, what you're seeing here, other than the text of Tra La Ra and El Sadar, is fundamentally a topographical map. I just used
We
emblems
we
to represent types of terrain.
we got a map out of the place where we found Hart, or one other place where ice shelf went in and actually got a map.
Yeah, we have a basic map,
Yeah.
and we have a very old map that shows the old stuff that used to be
Hmm.
Right,
around, but that's all Crapathia.
right.
Okay.
I doubt it extends this far down.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been there. You may have had or seen an overall map. If you want me to scan out, I could give you additional space to look at if you want to. But as far as giving you context of what stuff means, there's really nothing that can help you.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna basically hug
Well,
the ridge and go around this side. Is that
yes.
what we're saying?
Yep.
All right. So as we cross that line into the forested area, or you will hear the wonderfully soothing breezes begin again. It's literally on one side of the line, dry, desiccated air. You feel the water just sapped from your body, but as soon as you drift across that line, across the pylons, boom! All of a sudden, it's cool, considerably more humid, quite comfortable, and on the breeze you hear the sounds of birds chirping and cicadas and other rhythmic sounds you would expect to hear from a living area.
She pulls a kind of like a floppy boonie out of her backpack and puts it on.
A
What
floppy
other thing?
boonie, about a
Oh,
hat.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
You know, floppy boonie.
Yeah, everybody's got a floppy boonie. Though some guys, have real issues with thinking about their floppy boonies, but I'm not
What?
gonna. Yeah, I'm just not gonna go there. Um, as you're drifting across this, you'll see below you. Um, looks like a stone wall, low, maybe 4 or 5 feet off the ground. As far as the bottom.
They're a tiny town?
No, no, no. Listen, 4 feet
Okay.
off the ground is a stone wall.
Like
Oh,
hovering above the ground?
Yes, the stones are piled up in about a 4 foot structure, but that 4 foot structure is above the ground.
Ooh,
There's
look
a
over there.
4 foot gap between the bottom of the stone wall and the
We
ground
have
beneath it.
It's
Uh,
interesting, but we have a destination to get to.
well,
Well,
It
I mean,
alright.
it is
seems
floating.
it seems to be surrounding a about a 3 acre area, and in the middle of it there is a uh, two story, what looks like a, for lack of a better term, lath and plaster uh, colonial house with big columns in front of it that have been carved to look like trees, but then painted white for some reason. So
Yeah,
three white painted. Uh,
stone trees.
yeah. It looks like they were. No, they might have been carved out of wood, but then they were carved to look like the bark on a tree, but then they painted them white.
They're trying to go for something
the
new, and
the house behind it, that the colonnades, the roof that it's holding up, is a two-story structure with two third-story risers, one to the left and one to the right, like uh, stylized turrets. They are castellated, but it's totally serving no real practical purpose because uh, rockulations, we call them, the risers,
Crenellated.
the crenellations are less than 8 inches tall.
They're decorative only, right?
Clearly can only be decorative. There's not any space within the top of the turret for anybody to even stand. So it's literally the top of the house is only made to look like turrets, yeah, as you approach from the front. So it's like a
So we're low
facade.
enough to see it.
Oh
I
yeah.
The
mean,
merlons of the crenellations are completely decorative.
Why? Thank you.
Those are words that Hart does have. They're useless, but he has them.
Exactly. They're in there, so he has to use them occasionally just to remind himself how many he does really have. The front garden of the house, more British style than American style, doesn't have a walkway on it, and the entire, say, 300 feet in front of the house, all across the front of it, are daffodils. Brilliant
I don't know
yellow.
why, but I want to yell, "It's a trap!"
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. So there are daffodils covering the entire front of the building.
okay.
Above the door from the house, even at this distance, you see there's some kind of writing. Somebody has put a name platen on the front of the building, right above the door frame. Can't make it
Okay.
out from here, but it's clearly looks like it must be like the name of the house or something.
Okay.
Are we avoiding the house, or are we investigating?
I'd kind of like to see it.
To how does that get us to where we're going?
Well, our destination isn't particularly dire. And we should warn everyone we can about the
And just for clarification,
impending doom of the Blinn.
in case it's just for clarification, just so we can remember how far we really have to go. We are here, and we have to.
What?
Let me see if I can get my
Alright.
annotate tools here.
We covered probably 1/10
We
of
gotta
the
get.
distance we have to go.
Well, you went from here, which is where you started,
Oh, there.
And-
Yeah.
right? And so you made it to here. So you're about, I'd say, almost over a quarter, less than a third.
Okay. I
'Cause
was
you're going
counting it from
all the way to there.
there.
Well, I guess we just keep on going.
I
Ignore
say
it.
we check it out.
Oh, you want to check it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though the sensors, danger, Will Robertson, danger. You know.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, that's my job, and I'm not saying it.
Rocky. You want to be
Mm.
on my side and outvote him?
What?
That's the way to say it, Gene. That shows such team
What
spirit.
side? I just said I don't want to go.
Right,
and
that makes
you're
it-
saying-
Makes it 2-1. And so if Rocky votes, that'd be 2-2 if he agreed with Hart, and it would be overwhelming 3-1 if he didn't. But the way she said it was so diplomatic. Rocky, what's your opinion?
You want to go check out the cool house with the tree pillars?
Oh, sure. Let's do it.
Sounds great.
50-50. So now the ship is stalled out. The captain's going, guys, what are we doing? Make up your mind.
Well,
Work together.
well, I bought the ship, so
Wait a moment.
Fill the cannons! Arm the bells!
Okay.
Alright, well, you do what you want to do. But the next thing I find interesting, I want to go do that.
fine.
Alright.
As long as the party's
Oh,
split.
that could be a very bad move.
If the party is split and he really wants to go see something, we can go see it.
All right.
Okay, I still register. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't like things on the ground that I cannot know and reconnoiter.
Well,
But that's everywhere.
This is reconnoitering.
That's the very nature of this. If you want to reconnoiter it, if you want to pull your rank as scout, you'd want to go check it out first to make it sure it's safe for everybody else.
Yes.
If you want to do that.
You will let me check it out first, okay?
No, you don't want to go in the first place.
Yes, but I'm the one that's best qualified to check it out before you guys get there.
Yeah, but you don't get to take the lead on something you don't want to do.
Okay, I'll stay here.
All right.
If you want to do it, you can do it.
Okay.
Hart will sneak towards the house.
All righty.
And I will sing behind him.
You'll sneak behind him.
Do 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 do. Sorry. What's
Yeah.
the
Going
song from?
do is not very sneaky. So
Neither is Hart sneaking.
you're right.
that's what I was going
We've
for.
already seen Hart sneak, so he's
Yeah, I'll
getting
try-
better. He's getting better. He's done it more than once, so he's working on his 10
dun,
weeks.
dun, da, da, da. Da, 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 da.
Wait a minute, don't.
Womp.
Using the Twilight Zone music. That's for sneaking.
No, Pink Panther.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude.
that was.
Do-do, 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 do-do,
Nice.
do-do,
Okay,
do-do,
now
do-do,
Valera is up there with the foot
do-do,
bow.
do-do.
She finds a way to slip into a climbing harness, rope herself
Yep. You've
on
already
the
did,
side.
we did this once against the worms, so yeah, makes sense. You're covering their approach with your foot bow. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Let me go get my. Two seconds here while it loads. I got something I got to get to my folder here. Word document. Hey.
Oops.
Steven, turn your head.
Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to do something. My phone's overheating. There we go.
Why don't you use the computer?
Because I don't have internet.
Oh.
Oh, what you said about computer stuff must be actually true. The outside of the house, above it says Argon Alley.
Ooh. It's a Harry Potter reference.
Alley.
Yeah, and Argon is Argon is spelled weird. Argun.
Okay, well, I probably can't see it from where I am.
You
so-
can't. You can't. I'm describing it for the people that are approaching.
And the sneakiness.
Argon Alley. It's not in my encyclopedia.
Can I do a
Argon
history
should be.
check?
Argon is a rare.
This is not Argon.
It's not Argon. It's Argon.
Argon.
Can
And
I
therefore,
do- can I-
it does not have a definition. That's what he's saying.
Okay then.
And
So I can't
alley
do that
alley
then.
seems an odd word because it doesn't seem to compute as an alley because it looks like a house.
Ooh. Let's open the door.
Okay,
That's
so we got to the edge of the daffodil garden. Are we walking through the daffodils?
Is the daffodils well kept?
Yes, they're trimmed and basically at this point the leaves have all of the dead or desiccated leaves have been removed. It looks like somebody goes through here like on a daily basis and must take care of the place, or there's something that lives off of the detritus that lives underneath the waves of yellow flowers.
Hmm. This is very pretty.
The front door of the house is double wide, two-door affair. Like, from a visual standpoint, for us as people, not for you as characters, but it's a standard white colonial pair of doors. And the sign above it is actually on the uh, overhanging porch, if you will, which is the upper level's balcony. The balcony is suspended between the two
front pillars.
visual towers and above the three pylons. The pylons are
Well,
two
no one.
to the left and one to the right of the center of the door frame, and it looks like the load bearing is primarily the outer two. So the third of the center of the three columns probably isn't load bearing. And the reason why I say that is that the structure of the two towers above seem to be, they end right there at the edges of those outer towers, pillars.
Well, no one who takes care of their flowers this well could be all bad.
Uh, okay. Shall we?
I have the captain drop a little lower.
Okay. The one of the windows opens rather suddenly, and you see a person. They basically ducked through the outer curtains of the window, and just through the sash up, and you hear a sound of cleaning, like stuff being slid around and scraping, and the person comes back to the window. Who she's not apparently even looking out, but she's about a 25 to 30-year-old, looks to be human female. Uh, Throws a carpet out and brings out this weird clover leaf shaped rod and starts beating the rug just outside the window so that the dirt and debris fall down outside the house. She's humming a cheery little tune.
Hello, I am Hart.
She stops and looks down. She goes, yes, hello, just a moment. She shakes the rug a little excitedly, almost like she's trying to hurry her process, drags it back inside, and leaves the window open. You can't really make out any sounds inside the house for a little bit, but then the doors will open, and the young woman, who is dressed in a blue and white standard kind of maid's outfit, a blue mid-length skirt and bodice, and a white shirt underneath that, and a white apron, comes out and motions for you towards the house in a rather frenetic manner, like, come on, get in here.
Okay.
Okay.
She's looking past you towards the tree line as she does so, almost nervously.
Something wrong?
Not apparently not yet. Please come in. Please come in.
Wait. What do you mean not yet?
Well, as you are asking that question, and she's ushering you towards the door, as you get to the door frame, fortunately, with the double doors, they're able to get it wide enough to accommodate Hart's rather impressive mass. But as you're as they're arranging to get those doors open, you will hear the first of the what sounds like trees falling somewhere in the forest. The ground fairly shakes just a bit, and although the airship won't notice that part, from their vantage point they can see the trees just to the northeast of the house moving as if something was coming through them and literally brushing the trees aside as they come.
Let's get inside.
Okay, let's go inside.
Okay. So you are inside. The gnome captain says, "Ma'am, I would recommend we regain our elevation. We don't even know what that is."
No, I totally agree with you, but I want to keep in bow shot range of it if we can.
Bow shot range of it. Are you going hunting, ma'am?
It depends on what comes out of that forest.
Oh, so you wish to ambush it then?
Yeah.
We do have the one on board crossbow. Remember, as well.
What's its range?
Um, at least about as long as your foot bow, because it's almost a ballista. It's not quite. It's a little bit smaller than that
Okay.
because it's a gnome. A gnome ballista, so it comes out just a little bit larger than a regular crossbow.
Okay. You man that with your men that know how to use it,
Okay.
and I will stay with a foot bow.
Okay. And then you also have. Did Rocky go down, or is Rocky with you as well?
I don't know.
Rocky came with us, I believe.
I thought he
hasn't
did.
said.
I thought he did. Wasn't certain.
Yeah.
Okay, so the three of you are inside, and when you go inside, the house has that homey, clean smell of fresh linen and maybe
Pine fall.
lemons. Yeah, no, lemons. Maybe some pine oil. Sure, maybe a little bit of pine oil. But there's also just over the top of that is a smell of what would I guess equivalent to a chowder kind of a soup being boiled.
Someone check the Hague map. I'm joking.
You're a funny guy. Smell food, automatically assume hags. That's great. That's a clear sign usually, so that's not a bad strategy. Young woman says, if you would please wait for the master in the sitting room. Points you towards a room with quite a extensive variety of different seating opportunities. There's a true love seat. If you recall, the original love seats were kind of had an S shape and two seating places, so there would be no patty fingers between them, if you please.
Howard, shall we?
And there's also an umbrella rack and a hat rack and a strange box with what looks like the front end of a flugelhorn sticking up in the sky.
Interesting.
Over in the corner.
An old Victrola.
So anyway, she offers you seats in that area, and she looks nervously at Hart and says, "If you please, there is an area over there by the furnace. It's not currently lit, so it's a safe place to stand. It'll keep you from damaging the furniture. I'm sorry, you were rather
I thought
massive.
not.
You what out?
I thought not.
So, who's your master?
Yes, he'll be with us in a moment. Please have a seat. I have to go. I have to go check on the soup.
Oh, do you know his name? What's his name? I mean, can you tell us his name at least?
Anyway, she as soon as she said that, she takes off. Now she does kind of leave your question hanging.
I'm gonna look at the well, I guess she ran off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go look at the books, the selections.
Okay, yeah, it's what's interesting about the bookshelf is that the shelf is lined with volumes upon volumes upon volumes, but when you get up there close, you realize that they're actually wood panels carved to look like the spines of books, even down to hand lettered titles running down the spines. But they are all contiguous sheets of panels, basically. There are no individual books on the shelf.
It's just something that's carved in.
Yes, as a matter of fact, in
Uh,
the places where like a bookend it would be there and there'd be a space, that's actually carved as well. And so in that space there, for example, is like a little uh, bud vase with a little tiny flower in it, and the bud vase itself is sitting on the shelf, but the shelf is part of the carved space of the books, all contiguous.
I'm just curious. This is my curiosity alone. I'm gonna put my finger on top of where one of the books are, and pull at it and see if anything happens. If nothing happens, I'll let it be.
Um, no, but
Like
when
it
you
could,
when you when you tug on it, if you feel a bit of resistance at it, so if you pull a little bit, you'll notice that the whole shelf will actually come out. The whole
uh,
row of books will all come at the same time.
all right. I'll push it back in,
Okay.
and I'll go to the big siren phone. Siren phone?
Okay. So the second crashing sound occurs outside, closer to the house than the first, and the tempo of the approach seems pretty slow. If it's a something walking and that's the crush of its feet, it's got to be incredibly massive. If on the other hand it is some specific action, it's like somebody did it at one place and then ran to another place and did the same thing again. So it's too fast to be. I mean, rather, it's too slow to be somebody actually walking, and it's too fast to be separate incidences. So there's something associating these actions.
What can I see from up above?
You just see the trees moving. They're about probably 100 yards still before the whatever it is will break the tree line.
Okay.
The dwarves have now ratcheted the crossbow back and brought out their bolt and stuck it in and are preparing to fire it at your command, ma'am.
Understood. We've got to see what it's doing. If it attacks the house, then we're going to fire.
Okay, so anyway, she comes back in with a little platter of nice square cut bits of cheese, some slabs of some kind of sausage, and crackers. These little white dough
If we, if
wafers.
you examine them, are they made of wood?
Very funny. No, man, no, they're clearly not made of wood. The cheese has that little glisten like a cheese
The
will
oil.
when it's been breathing for a bit, and the meats have a little bit of the glisten of grease on them, and the crackers you can actually see the little tiny cubes of salt, little tiny.
Hmm.
This is a civilized household basically, and they're offering you a little appetizer thing. And when she does, she brings this in. She says, "Behind the bar there is some sherry if you prefer. There's some port. There might actually be a couple of vintages if you feel like you desire that. And I think there's also a bottle of brandy back there."
Oh my. Um, who carved the books?
She looks and goes, "Excuse me." The book collection has been in the Symes family for uh, at least 127 years.
Oh, amazing.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yeah. Um, uh, would you prefer the larger glasses or a snifter for the brandy?
Snifter, please. If you have the lid for it too, so I can keep the flavor in, and that'd be
I'm
nice.
sorry, the lid on the for the snifter.
Yes,
The,
because
the,
you
yep,
block,
yep,
you
yep. I
have
know
it
what you meant.
block
I know
the.
what you meant.
Yeah.
Just making sure. She kind of looks at you with surprise, like A, that you would think of that, and B, that you wouldn't think that you would expect that she wouldn't have. But anyway, she comes back with that, and she brings over to Hart a small, looks like a syringe. It's got a little place for to squeeze basically the device, and she says, "This is um, linseed. If you prefer, I also have some more aggressive oils, but I thought this might be to your liking."
Gracious.
She says it's particularly good in the the joints of the jaw and at the eye line. And she curtsies and steps away.
Heart will try it.
Okay, so go ahead and make a Constitution save there, Hart.
Sure shooting. Oh, not percentage dice. Ha 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 ha.
Wrong game.
17.
17. Okay, so for the first time in Hart's existence, he feels something. It,
I feel.
it's soothing and comforting, relaxing. It is so much more nuanced than any of the standard lubricants you've ever used.
Even better than my whale oil? I mean, grease?
Well, yeah, this is it actually has an essence to it that feels alive, for lack of a better term.
Nice. I like that.
And when you put it when you just put a little couple of drops along the eye line where that mechanic portion moves your eye mechanism around, it actually almost feels like it's propagating because it's so smooth compared to the other oils that the other oils are beating up on it. So it actually causes literally a tear to roll down your cheek of the older, less nuanced, less smooth oils.
Ah,
It's like flushing it out, all the bad stuff.
Yeah, but it also I didn't. One of the things that I discovered that the people in England do that blew me away when I was visiting over there is that I'd always heard of snuff boxes, but I didn't know what the effect was. But what they do is they powder substances like cinnamon or wintergreen, and you put a little powder of it on your pinky finger, and you put it just inside your nostril, and it reacts to your what's the word I'm looking for? Your mucous membrane in your nose, like a direct shot directly to your brain of whatever that sense is. So it sounds gross, by today's culture to think that people do this, but they put that little bit of snuff in their nose and it just wakes up the senses.
well, remember that they didn't have, deodorant and things, so you kind of had to apply your own if you had a nose that took
Right,
offense.
right, right. You also had nosegays. You'd carry the little flowers around for the same reason and things like that. But I'm just saying that the sensory input for somebody like Hart, it's that extreme. That's what I'm getting at. Is it's stark. It's just so. It's got to be so strange for you to have never felt, and then all of a sudden, this burst of sensory input that makes no sense, but yet feels. It actually, like I said, you feel for the first time.
Birdie.
And the brandy has a similar effect. There is something about the
Well, can I describe what I'm doing first? If I'm gonna actually do it, and I'm gonna
sure.
lift up the lid just a tiny bit, raise it and breathe it and stop slowly.
Uh-huh.
Close the lid
Mhm.
and take in the scents and like what notes do I get?
Well, clearly you clearly get woodlands and nut aromatics, but there's also some grasses and a little bit of a honey aroma to it. And finally, over the top of that is I don't want to say bacon, but meat cracklings is kind of what you're getting. Is that like the campfire kind of
Oh,
Roasty, where it gets crispy on the outside and crackly.
right?
The fat drips out of the fat cap, and it gets all crusty.
Yeah.
okay.
Whatever the material is that is the core of the brandy has to be something along the line of probably a rose or something because it's feeding whatever the plant is growing on is animal byproduct, for lack of a
Hmm,
better term.
interesting. And then I'm gonna open it again, and then take a brief sip, and like lie the liquid lie on my tongue as I breathe in, just like
Okay.
wine,
Yep.
and close the lid, and then close my eyes to
Yeah, and
chill.
there's something about the liquid itself that actually becomes cooler over time. Instead of warming up in your mouth, it actually cools. So it's really a pleasant drink to drink.
Excellent. This is good stuff. I did
Um,
Art
not.
goes over to Freya and puts his arm on her shoulder and says, "Are you okay?"
It's
With a little tear
beautiful.
running down his cheek.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yes.
hey, Rocky, come on, Jacob, don't
Rock
disappoint
and
me.
roll.
Okay, guys. I gotta be right back, guys. Just give me a second. I gotta
Yep.
go throw the garbage.
Okay,
Uh, uh,
you with us, Rocky?
Yeah, he just responded.
Okay, I did.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know that you don't have much in the way of experience with this kind of stuff, but there are also a variety of bottles and
She also
glass
brought the
containers.
charcuterie board.
The what?
Hey,
The charcuterie board.
Oh yes,
Mm.
yes.
The
So
breads, meats, cheese.
yep, yep. Did you want to try some of the snacks, or are you concerned and worried about this still being a trap? I am talking to you, Jacob.
Oh, sure. Try the snacks.
Okay. The crackers crumble pleasantly to the palate. There's a bit of a crunch to it, but not much. There's a release of a buttery flavor that is kind of surprising. The sausage is a mellow kind of a summer sausage, and it's substantive enough that biting into it, you feel almost like you're biting into a luncheon meat instead of just a snack tray. And the cheese is smooth. It's got a little bit of a resistant texture, but when the three of them are combined, it is like you're eating like a 7 course meal. It just is so satisfying.
Uh, huh. This is actually not that bad.
It may be
love
the
him.
best meal you've ever had in your life, but you go, I'm not bad. Go ahead and make a
Mm.
Constitution save because of that.
Okay.
He is a dwarf. I think I saw him eat a fish raw once.
Yes, yes, that's true. From the nose to its tail, he had to
I
eat that.
roll an 8.
An 8. Okay, yep, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, he ate the fish from the nose first. Do you know why? Because that way he wouldn't have to worry about the fish ever smelling.
Ah,
Ah.
I'm
Aha.
kind of keeping a long count on them.
Okay. The third of the crashing sounds is probably 30 yards from the edge of the tree line. When it crashes, you see leaves and debris flying up from whatever the impact was, and it is indeed something that's walking incredibly slowly, almost circumspectly towards the house, like cautiously, like it's actually slowing as it approaches.
What does it look like?
You haven't seen it yet. It's something inside the tree line. All you see is the
Okay.
dust and debris from the trees as the stuff goes up. And also birds would flutter up and flap away from the side of the crash as well, as
Yeah.
they are disturbed by whatever it is. But they weren't
Captain,
disturbed by its approach, which is kind of curious. You would think they would have flown away long before the actual impact.
Captain, when that thing breaks the cover of the tree line, tell me what it is in your estimation.
Sure. You got it. Um, while she's gone back to the kitchen again this time, and you've had a chance to try the snacks, and you've looked at the books on the shelves, um, the decor suggests a middle middle class income as far as that's concerned, but the house is really large, so the collection of furniture looks like it might have been hodgepodge over a long period of time. Some of the pieces don't match. For example, the others, there are quite a few of the pieces have kind of a cherry wood appearance, but there are a couple of the older, blockier oak pieces as well. And the oak pieces have been covered with a linen cloth that has a daffodil pattern. So you're starting to see a theme that the person really likes the daffodil.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Spring, spring
But
and early
kind
summer.
of in old houses like that, that's kind of what they did is they have lots of old stuff that they keep and lots of new stuff that they bring in, and
right.
I love
So,
that aesthetic of old English houses.
hmm. The long runner, the carpet runner between here and the kitchen that she's tread on a couple of different times, you notice also has the daffodil pattern, but in the middle of it is a ring, and the ring is of a different color, yellow, giving the connotation of like a wedding ring or a classic, flat male type of ring laying
Okay,
amongst the daffodils.
interesting. I'm
Uh,
up there. I can't see that, so
right.
I'm just watching the forest,
hmm hmm
trying to figure out what the heck is coming.
then you guys can hear steps coming, the sound of steps coming down the staircase. Um, it's a rhythmic pattern that is not just footsteps, but sounds like there may be a walking stick uh, associated with it. So it's tap, tap, click, tap, tap, click, tap, tap, click as the person comes down the stairs. Uh, because of the fact that you're in the sitting room, you can't quite see the curve of the staircase that goes up to the second floor from here, but you can definitely hear that it's coming from that main entry that you originally came through. After a few minutes, a shadow falls across the door, I mean the archway into the room where you are, as the person finally has attained the main landing and has swiveled military style to his right and then staggered. So the person made a military turn, but clearly is like off of balance for some reason, regains his balance, and then goes back to the tap tap click as he comes towards the door. About this time, the edge of the forest is broken, surprisingly, at about the 2.5 foot height, and a uh, looks like a halfling dressed in courtly finery of brilliant green comes, I say, resolutely walking into the garden. He basically gets to the fence line around the daffodils and ducks his head, goes under one of the beams, and walks through the daffodils, or starts to walk through the daffodils. Captain says,
All
"Looks."
that.
Captain goes, "Looks like a halfling to me."
How could have he been smashing through trees?
Ma'am, I don't know. I've never seen this person, and neither have I heard that type of an approach before. What do you want us to do? Want us to fire?
No, not yet. Maybe okay. Put it. No, actually, right now we need to see what's going to happen as far as the house is concerned. If he makes a hostile action towards the house where my friends are, then
Okay.
yes,
All
we're
right.
going to fire a warning shot first,
Fire
and then
warning shot if he does something aggressive to the house.
well,
Yes.
yes, we'll
Just
just
want to
give
make
him
sure.
one warning shot, and then I'm going to.
Just clarifying that you're going to do a warning shot if he does something aggressive to the house. Got you. So, the gentleman that comes into the doorway is 6'4", graying hair combed sharply over the back of his head, hanging down to about mid-collar length. It curls in almost a coiffed kind of an appearance. It creates like a ruff at his neck level behind him, and he has a pencil-thin mustache and a Colonel Sanders soul patch only beard. Just a
Okay.
little tiny bit of beard in front of him. Uh, he's dressed in an all black pinstriped suit, form fit to him, including tails. The cummerbund is a brilliant orange in color, but his shirt is white behind the black. And he steps forward.
Hello.
He steps forward, looks at all of you, each one independently, and says, "I am Teffier Symes. Welcome to my home."
It's hello. Thank you. Well,
Very pretty home.
Why? Thank you very much. I trust that you find my affectations to be sufficient for you. Are you appreciating the drink, the uh, appetizers, and the gift that I brought for you? And points at Heart in specific.
Most definitely.
Okay, and so for clarification, the feeling will wear off after about a minute or so, but you can redose and feel it again. So it's that strong of a material that you can use it more than once and still get the feel for it, so to speak.
you're starting to sound like a drug man.
Well,
Why would it do that?
Why would you refeel it?
No,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
worry.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, he says, he says, I hope you're appreciating that. He says, it's unfortunate that there are still members of your crew out there. We don't know what dangers might come. Did you see anything odd in the forest?
Yeah.
There was a boomy,
Oh,
but not particularly. Your
did
maid seemed very worried.
Right. No. Did you see it though?
No.
Okay. Good. Then we might have avoided the inevitable. At about
What's
this
that?
time,
Inevitable.
at about this time, on the outside, the little guy has gained the porch and runs up the stairs aggressively, like he's in a hurry, which he wasn't in before. Just taking the stairs one at a time as quickly as he can. Little legs pumping pretty hard to get up those steps, but he's pounds up the stairs, walks resolutely towards the front door, lifts his fist, and slams the hand against the door. At which time the crossbow twangs, because you said if he did anything aggressive
Yeah.
to the house to do so. So the very knock on the door elicited a crossbow bolt into the door frame. So from the inside you hear knock slam. Here's Symes turns to look over his shoulder and goes, "Oh dear, we might have trouble with the neighbors."
Why? What's out there?
He says he kind of gets a knowing look on his face, holds his hand up next to his face, and kind of pats the air, saying, "Just, I'll go ahead and take care of this. Please remain seated and continue to enjoy your snacks, and I shall return." And heads. He again does his about face, and you realize that the reason why his about face is so bad is that he only functionally has one leg and is using a prosthetic, and the prosthetic doesn't end in a shoe like the other one, but ends in a kind of
Peg
a,
leg?
yeah, it's kind of a peg stomp kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's round, and so when he makes the turn, it clicks against the other heel and causes him
Hey,
difficulty.
can I would like to use message to message Jean to ask her what's happening outside.
Okay. As he walks
Hey.
away, she can fill you in on what's going on.
Uh,
The guy looks over his shoulder. The little green clad individual looks over his shoulder, turns and gives you a double-handed gesture that suggests that you might insert something somewhere rather violently, and then he knocks on the door a second time.
Okay.
Hey, what?
Just hold action for now. he says, but reload.
Okay, so they are reloading. Uh, so you don't release the footbow when he gestures aggressively at you.
No, not just for a gesture.
Okay.
Hey, Gene, are you okay out there?
I'm not Jean. I'm Valara.
Laura. Sorry. My fault.
You won't. I saw trees moving, branches breaking, leaves rising up, and out of the forest walks a halfling in green.
Okay, so there's gonna be a guy coming out. He said he's gonna handle it. Keep him safe, I guess, if anything.
Well, we
But
fired a warning bolt when he kind of finally hurried up. He walked very slowly across the intervening distance, but when he got to the stairs, he started running up and knocked on the door. I did have the captain fire our crossbow bolt.
so
Uh,
that's what that sound was. Okay.
as no, that was his pound and then the crossbow bolt,
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
but only as a warning shot.
okay. There's gonna be a guy coming out of the house.
Yeah. About this time.
He's
About
very
this time, you
friendly.
can see the door opening, and the little guy starts in even before the door is completely open. How many times have I told you you're not supposed to have visitors during the daytime? It's very, very off-putting to realize that you don't respect our agreements or our wishes. And I cannot. And at this time, the guy says, the tall guy at the doorway, shakes his head and closes the door. The little guy still ranting for a few more seconds till he realizes the door was closed in his face, and then he slams the door again with his fist. When he does it this time, you see the lintels actually shake and dust falls off of the archway.
I don't care what size he is, Freya. That guy is really strong.
Mm,
He actually pushed trees out of his way, or it looked like he was pushing trees out of his way. And I
okay.
can't believe he just looks that small and that weak.
The Mr. Symes opens the door again, looks out, and says, "If you're going to speak to me in that tone of voice, we can talk at council." The little guy looks up at him, kind of surprised, gapes a couple times like a fish, and says, "You know this is not an issue for the council. This is the third time this month that we've had a conversation," and the door closes again. Symes leans back so he can look into the sitting room and says, "I really am apologetic. I am sorry. This is really an inconvenient time for this. I apologize. Please bear with me." And
Of
about
course,
that
of
time,
course.
there's a third crash to the door, and this time it sounds like there might have been a crack in some of the wood of the door. The guy hits it so hard. From where you are, the few birds that were in the lintels far down the front of the house fly up from the impact, suggesting that it shook the entire front of the house.
Mm,
Mr. Symes opens the door again and says, "Jacob, you need to calm down. This does not do good for your health. You know what happened last time." Little guy puts his hands on his hips, fumes a bit more, kicks at a rock, an imaginary rock at his feet that isn't there, and says, all right, let's talk." Mr. Symes nods his head and offers for the man to step in. When he does, Symes reaches up to where you guys put the crossbow bolt in the side of his house, wiggles it back and forth to unwedge the crossbow bolt tip, walks to the edge of the porch and lays it on the first step and waves at the airship.
Okay.
Turns around and walks back into the house. When the little guy comes in, there's a couple things about him other than the fact that he's clad all in green, and that is that his outfit looks like a German lederhosen. It's a green little jumper with a pale green shirt underneath it. The pale green shirt is tied off with what looks like the Western boa kind of a tie, but the ends of the boa are little tiny worm heads or snake heads, and they're hissing and moving around of their own volition. So the heads will look up every once in a while. The bow is tied neatly at his neck, and his hair is just a curly mess, as most halflings have that unkempt, uncontrollably curly hair. But he has hairpins, these big metal, the kind, the clippable ones, or they call them the barrettes, holding his hair
Yeah.
down in a lot of different places. And every time he gets agitated, one or two of them pops free, and you'll see them spring away from his head. Uh,
Catapulted, as it were.
yes. Um, his knees are dirty, suggesting that he spends time down actually on the ground. He's got a pipe sticking out of his upper pocket of the lederhosen, and a magnifying glass as well. Anyway, he says, Symes, who are these people, and why have you entertaining guests in the middle of the week?
When are your puppets?
Even your fan.
Yep, Steven, your
Sorry.
fan.
I hear that I got better. Here, let me try some down.
Nope, that's worse.
I said
Much.
like in a moment. There we go. Better?
Much
Yeah,
better.
much better.
Alright, when are you supposed to interchange guests? If not the week.
Oh, entertaining is specifically done with the approval of the council on even numbered weekend days between weekend days from the hours of dusk until 2 in the morning. That is simply how we do it here.
So I'm sorry, we didn't know
And
that.
Mr. Symes, who's now walked back in, says, I apologize for my impetuous little friend here. This is Zyram. And Zyram's been working on a project up in his hobbit hole for about the last month or so. And he's asked for some contingencies, and sometimes we forget, and then again there's also coincidences like your own passage over the land. He turns down and looks at Zyram and says, Zyram, you know that I can't control the air traffic in the area. If I could, I would put up a balloon or something, but the council won't let me interfere with the landscape that greatly. Zyram stares at him for a second like he's been interrupted, which he was a little, and kind of does a harumph, and he walks over to the end of the bar. It's not low enough for him to reach, so he actually pulls over a bar stool, climbs up it like it's Mount Everest, struggles to get himself up onto the top of it, stands up on top of that, and opens the tobacco jar at the end of the bar and starts stuffing leaves into his pipe, grumbling.
Who is the council?
When you say that, Zyram starts to turn, but Mr. Seems says, raises his hand and says, "No, just please let me." And it says, "The council are the four leaders of our small part of Tra-La-Ra, and are all interested in the same project, which is the recovery and reestablishment of the Castle of Trantor."
There was a castle?
Is a castle, says Zyram. There clearly is a castle, and I've told Symes about it several different times, but he continues to insist that it is not there. It's just patently ridiculous when you can see it rising up out of the lake. The two of them start to bicker back and forth for a few seconds, but Symes realizes the situation and breaks off. He says, I'm sorry, gentlemen. This is a local politics issue. You have clearly much more on your plate than dealing with our petty squabbles. And besides that, it's almost dinner time. I understand we are going to be enjoying my servant Mary's particularly well-suited chowder. Would you be joining us?
Yes. Let me call my friend and see if she wants to join us.
Oh, yes, please. How many members are on board your crew so that I can make sure there's sufficient amounts of food for everyone?
I have no idea. Let me ask the captain. Captain! captain of the Enterprise. Do you read me?
That's not how this works.
I talked to G.
Heart's going
Sorry.
to go outside
Oh yeah, go for it.
and wave. Clearly a beckoning wave.
Well, you can call me because you messaged me already.
Now, message is a spell. He used the spell.
Uh,
He's
Mhm.
a mage, remember?
are you going to do the come hither?
He is.
That's what I just
Hart
did.
just did. Hart stepped out. He did the scene from Stargate. He wants us to go with him. How do you know that? Because he wants us to go with him.
Captain, just hover here and just hold position. I'm going to go down and find out what's
I'm
going
going to
on.
need to take you down a little bit first. Our ropes won't hit the ground from here. Remember, we elevated for the possibility of combat. So
Are you greater than 200 feet off the ground?
that yes, usually.
Okay, then fine.
We saw something coming through the trees. It could have been a giant. We would have been up above 20 feet in the air.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, it moved like a giant. It sounded like a giant. It crunched through those trees.
Okay, we get that.
I was as surprised as
Right. So by the
she
time you
starts
finish,
to say, "Hey," and then she says, "I was surprised as anybody else that
well, you can
that
have this conversation when you get down because the captain was there when it happened, so he saw it. So
yeah."
okay, so he lowered the craft gets lowered down, and you're able to rappel
Okay.
down this ranger style. You can
Yep, because I have the climbing harness on.
Mhm.
I just hook on the
link up and loop. Yep, I got you.
link up and loop, and there down I go.
Okay. So Symes is having the table prepared in the dining room. It's a long, thin table. As a matter of fact, they had to add a couple of leaves to make enough room for everybody. But the thing can seat 20 people. So you and the ship's crew can all be there at the table if you want.
I don't know if they can leave the ship just parked.
Why can't they?
Oh God, I'll
You'd
have
leave
to
you'd
call.
leave a couple of sculleries or something back behind so that they can ring the bell if something horrible happens.
Oh,
Uh,
The guy,
I went.
Symes will also suggest that that they do take it back up to elevation, so they will want to probably leave a couple of crewmen. So they probably have to draw straws for it, and some of them will be very disappointed because they have to go back instead of eating this fine meal.
whatever. We'll
Well,
get
I'm sure
the
the maid will
leftovers.
send us something up for them.
Oh yes, we definitely
That's very
put it in a
polite.
pot, and they can pull it up like they do. Yep. So
Yeah. Okay. Every these are the ones that can come down and she introduces the captain. He can introduce his crew. However, they had to leave a skeleton crew on board.
yes.
Yes, that's literally what we just said, Jane.
And they would be something that these people also would be familiar with because they are apparently living on a trade route because otherwise they wouldn't have had a conversation about air traffic.
Right? Well, I wasn't quite down here for that, so.
True. So, young lady, what part of the realm are you from?
Well,
Cryopathia.
I was up in what Cryopathia,
Oh, oh.
and um,
I can
in,
hear you. I can hear you're a friend of the kingdom.
Scotland district.
Yeah.
God save the king.
Off with his head, more likely.
Yeah.
More. Sorry, that's the only thing I have.
Okay. So she steps back out to answer her radio. What the hell? Okay.
This is Valara of the fifth column coming in.
Yeah, exactly. I've infiltrated Zyrum's the cabal. Anyway, Symes goes. So, you travel this direction. Where are you headed?
Candle scratch.
Oh my, that is an endeavor. You guys are courageous.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with the dangers of Korkorum?
No.
Ah, well, about this time Zyrum perks up and goes, Well, let me tell you, those giants are ridiculously powerful, and they are selfish bastards.
Well, you look like you're someone who can handle a giant, though.
He looks down, looks at you, and goes, "Why would you say that? I'm so diminutive and dainty for my age." And
You look.
Slimes can't help but laugh at that.
You knock very loudly.
Oh,
It moved the house.
he pats his belly, and at first you're thinking he's talking about his personal constitution, but you realize he's got a belt that's got some text sewn into it. At the one edge, it looks like the word seven, and on the other end, it looks like ow.
Can I decipher it with
Well, when you
my
look, when you
cane?
pay attention to it, he goes, "Oh, allow me," and he climbs up onto the table, moving his plate carefully with his boot, and does a slow sauntering circle, so you can read the belt. It clearly says seven in one blow.
What the? Oh, is that? Oh, is that a magic belt?
This is the belt of my ancestor.
Oh,
Matter of fact, I'm named after Zyron the First.
oh, wow! It's an honor.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, the story goes that my ancestor, in a rage against the giants, found them at cards at the top of a hill, and raising his fist, he destroyed all of them in a single blow.
That's amazing.
That is the story.
It explains why you are quite strong too. Then.
He kind of chuckles and sits back down. Oh, everyone speaks of strength like it's something to be sought after. He says, "What I seek is peace and quiet." And up until today at noon, when you guys interrupted by walking across the daisy field, I was minding my own business, and I just couldn't abide that horrible sound.
What horrible sound.
Have you ever stepped on a daisy and heard its screams?
We were stepping
No.
on daisies. I thought there was a path.
I never described any path.
Oh well, I'm.
Anyone
Happy
really
sorry.
thought about it because daffodils actually are a pretty hardy little plant, and so you could step around them and be able to pass through them fairly easily. But he apparently couldn't abide the very sound of the plants being crushed under your boots or feet. And we haven't described Hart as being. We already declared he's not quite so dainty. So even if he was trying, that girth going through there is going to do some incidental damage.
I can try to do mending if you would like me to.
Mending only works on things man-made.
Oh. And I would call myself God if I did that.
Not necessarily.
Mending can't be used to heal, for example.
Yeah, but it can be used on ropes, which is basically plant fiber.
But it's worked by men to be rope.
Well, I don't see a difference.
I know you don't. But rope is a tool.
Ha 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 ha.
Anyway, we were talking politics, and now the food has come, and so we don't talk about politics any longer. We'll continue that conversation afterwards. In the meantime, tell us about your most savory meal to date. What was the best meal you've had? And then I'd like you to compare it with this measly fare, this limited fare that I am providing. He's actually obviously Symes is fishing for compliments with that line.
Yeah.
Art had some really nice oil.
He looks at you and realizes, he says, "You're right. You're right. We are being unfair to one of our guests." So he walks over to one of those bookshelves where there was a little jewel box at the end of it, and he opens it up and pulls out a tiny um, stone. It's a flat rock, oval in shape. It's in his hand. It kind of has a pearlescent appearance, but when you get closer, you see it actually has um, internally to its structure. The outer surface is somewhat translucent, and the inward materials reflect the colors of the rainbows in scintillating ways. So
Hmm.
it's literally a piece of moonstone.
Pretty.
And he stops for a second and looks at your chest cavity where uh, Floyd is,
Mm-hmm.
and says, "May I?"
May you
Points
what?
points at your chest. He says, "I want to imbue a gift upon you. It is unfortunate your friends can enjoy such good meals, but you're unable to participate. I'd like to offer you something in compensation for that, to make up
Okay.
for that." And he takes the stone and he places it against your chest, and sunlight, when it hits it, puts a vibration into your system that is incredibly pleasing. It doesn't
Hmm.
do anything, but feel good.
Feels good with the sun. Sounds nice.
Yes. He says, "This is a gift. This comes from a place you probably never heard of called Earth. This material does not exist here, for we have no moon, but it is called a moonstone. It is said that they have a mighty rock that circles their world that gives them light by night."
How strange. Kind of like Nimbus.
Mm-hmm.
Heart will give him a card. The Seven of Hearts.
Nice. He takes the card from you, and again, as in the case of others of the civilized world, he accepts the card with both hands, and clicks his heel against his stump, almost falls over in the process, and turns and walks away, thanking it with a smile on his face. He says, "Now, onto the fair. Please enjoy yourselves." And beyond the soup, there's actually a garden salad that has all kinds of greens in it, and a kind of a beet soup kind of material, along with bread dumplings, and that's kind of the pre meal appetizer. What do you call it? I can't really call it the there's a word for it.
Aperitif.
Well, it's when they serve things like not soup, what do you call it? Gazpacho, that kind of thing. It's the cold soup appetizer to warm up your taste buds for the actual meal. So it's not particularly strong, but it is flavorful and substantive. The beet strips are nice and thick. And then when they bring out the chowder, it's each of them is served in its own bowl and has a dumpling like crust baked over the top of it. That's what she had to go back and do, was put the biscuit in on top of it, so to speak. So
May I add my total enjoyment of the
Well,
meal
you
that you have presented us.
you missed him talking about your home, you know.
I heard it. I heard everything.
Okay.
I did not respond for reasons that are still my own.
he looks
And
he looks across the table and says, "I don't know how cold it is in Cryopathia, but young lady, we normally take our gloves off before we eat."
Oh, she has disfigured hands, so she's very embarrassed with them. Do you mind if she just keeps them on?
Ooh, smooth. That was without a flinch. That was well done. Well done. Oh, of course, I would not mean to embarrass. I apologize for even the suggestion.
there, no apology needed. I thank you very much, though, for your consideration. Now, since I've come out of cryopathia where what you eat is meat, 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 and meat, since nothing of a vegetable nature grows there.
Wait. He has a salad right there. I
No,
point
no,
at the.
no. I said
He's trying to
cryopathia.
be gracious about
Yeah, she's being gracious.
Oh, okay.
goodness gracious.
And when we were traveling, oh, You know how it goes. It's trail rations unless you're lucky enough to come to a place where they actually can serve a meal. But we really have
Well,
gone around most of those places that were
well,
kind of.
there's as an aside, the Zyram looks up and goes, yeah, but there's a great little hot dog stand there at the reliquary. No, just kidding.
Hot dogs?
We don't
I
mention that
think it's
place.
called Auntie Wetzel's. She makes good pretzels.
Andy Wexels.
But that was churros.
So this is
That too.
absolutely the best meal that I have had in a very long time.
Really?
Yes.
So you traveled directly from Cryopathia? You didn't get to visit any other fine establishments, other eating places between there and here that appealed to your palate?
No.
Yes.
Hey, we had a
Yes.
brief. Where?
Tralara. I mean Inandara.
Yeah, with the
This is
ghost,
Tralara.
my friend.
You remember? I never got to eat anything.
What?
Yes, you
No,
ate.
you did.
With the ghost,
They
my
had a big
friend.
feast for you.
Oh. Yes, I did have one
You
meal.
also ate at the
Can I
Troll Skull
continue?
Inn.
Troll Skull.
Yeah, that that I'm praising his meal.
Yeah. Okay. You don't recall having any other. I'm just clarifying.
Well, no, I do remember the one place where when we were feasted, but this is such,
You were
shall we
I was
feasted.
say,
You were feasted. Then I feel like I haven't done you enough honor. Uh, you were feasted.
well,
What were you feasted? That's it's usually an high honor for nobles. Am I in the presence of nobility?
no, no. We were able to render some small aid to them, and I think they were, well,
very
it was
appreciated.
rather very effusive in their response to the small thing that we did.
I
But
see.
this is like home cooking. This is this
Well,
is
remember,
genuine.
remember also the Leif Malone who had a better meal than this.
Shh.
Yeah.
Just,
Yes.
I didn't say
He
that out
didn't
loud.
say
I'm
that.
just saying.
He's just clarifying that you need to just keep in context that this group of all the groups on Nycos has had more delicacies. I think it's probably because this is the day of the week when I get to eat.
It's also the day of the week that I can't because I'm a robot, and I remember many of them. Like the lobsters back in Eldrasar as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
anyway,
And then we also had my friend who's a ghost, and she cooked.
this reminds me of home.
Of
Oh,
course it
The
does. It's the
the
first.
chowder with
That's
this.
that just dawned on me. That's actually the trick here. This is the first human-made meal she's had.
Yeah.
she's me human.
The maid?
Uh,
Yeah, she
Oh.
looked elvish, but she's human.
Oh, okay.
It just because she has a bit of a turn of the ears, and the hairstyle is that of the elves.
Oh.
So I thoroughly appreciate your being a gracious host and preparing such a wonderful meal.
Wow, thank you, thank you.
And she,
Looks over at the captain and says, "What's what the?" I'm gonna ask the question and see if you guys remember. What's the name of the vessel?
Have
serendipity.
one. No,
Enterprise.
it doesn't have one.
Well, the
I
captain
thought
captain probably has a name for it, so let me go see if I can come up with a name for it. I just didn't know if I'd
It's
ever
called
told
the
you.
I
Enterprise.
I
thought
can
we
guarantee
named
you that
it.
on this one we did not.
Yeah, we didn't.
I
Okay.
didn't name it, but I'm naming it the
The other one is-
Enterprise.
No, you're
Gary.
not. You're not gonna blurt out some random name for a ship.
Right.
It's not a random name. It's a very
I
beautiful
don't
name.
care.
It's an Earth name. You wouldn't know it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the Arthund.
The Arthun.
So now you
The
want to
arson.
Arthund, Arthund.
I know that's what you're saying, but what I'm hearing
Is arson?
is arson
My microphone too close? Or you
with
think
a lisp.
lisp? Arthund.
Arthun.
It's gonna burn to the ground because it's a ship called the Arthund.
Or we burn everything.
Or
out
if you
the
want to go
ground.
German on it, it's Arthund.
Achtund.
Arthund. Yes.
The Reds.
Well, as you're finishing the meal, he says, "I do hope you left room for dessert. We have some strawberry crepes that Mary put together. It was just something that she just tossed together while we were eating the main meal."
Can I have some more with the dessert? And I raise the glass of the center.
Definitely, definitely. The bottle's still on the counter. Feel free.
Thank you.
I think I even
take
have a
them all.
couple of bottles of that vintage if you're of a mind for them.
I,
I can't let them go for free, but for a pittance, a couple of silvers, I'd offer you a bottle to take with you.
oh,
You won't find a better vintage between here and Corcoran.
Where
Hart
my,
doesn't say anything, but his eye often falls across the oil can.
Oh, and when you try to be polite and slide it back across the table to him, he pats the back of your hand 7 times because of the card you gave him, not because he knows, but because you gave him the 7. He pats your hand 7 times and then slides the injector back to you.
Thank you.
Don't mention
I
it.
think I'll take a glass of that brandy too.
Oh, absolutely. I had, as I said, I do have a couple of Elvish vintages as well, and I think I've got in the basement a bottle of Schlitz.
what?
Schlitz.
You're kidding.
He
Good.
grins. He grins and says, "No, I'm not kidding," and I knew. And you realize that he got you.
Yeah. Damn.
You gotta be kidding me. I did such a good job for you.
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
you turn and look and go, "What? No!"
What you didn't realize is that we were talking in Terran the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
We'd slipped into Terran about halfway through that conversation, and because
But you guys,
they've picked it up because they've been traveling with you just as much as you picked it up from them. I mean, just as much as you learned common from them.
Well, I knew Terran the whole time.
Right.
I've thrown my lot in with Nycos.
Well, he goes downstairs to get the bottle of Schlitz because I'm sure
Clearly, he has too.
So,
I hear Dad.
That is a
Calling
dad.
Nimros. He's calling Nimros.
No, he's calling Emmers.
Emmers? Emmers is the puppy or the older dog?
No,
It's the third.
he calls him Nimmers.
Oh, Nimmers. Nimmers.
Short for Nimros, yes.
Yeah.
Which is not short.
Nimmers.
It's the same exact number of syllables, but
Yep.
But quicker off the tongue.
yes. Anyway,
Quicker.
so he comes back with that, and he's not an unwise man. He brings the rest of what would be. Okay, this is also kind of weird. It's a 12-pack with the little stringy thing. Remember those? The little plastic stringy thing?
Yeah.
Holding them
Oh, the ones
together.
that strangle turtles?
Yes.
what are you talking about?
He brings up the string of those and hands out beers to the rest of the crew. And the crew, of course, cheers, not knowing what it is they're getting into. But
It's a
this
good-
is the Schlitz. This is the 6.0. This is the stuff that was not allowed across the borders into other states for a long time because it was so strong.
Wait,
This is beer.
I don't know what this is.
She removes her gloves. Since I'm in the company of
Friends.
Sympathizers,
friends,
rogues, and criminals.
Yeah.
I thank you.
Yeah, I say criminals, rebels. Yeah, and you say friends. To friends. Yes, that's a good.
Yes.
That's a good
You're
term.
not
for
allowed
it.
to steal anything.
And she takes a sip. Oh my God, I've forgotten how good this is.
I
Yes,
still have
yes.
no idea what
Which
you
does
guys
bring me
did.
to my point. Symes says, "You've traveled an awful long time, and you've disclosed your disdain for the different foods that you've had over the ways. Tell me, do you feel the same way about the peoples of Nycos?"
No. Quite honestly, I've thrown him in with them.
But
I
the beer
cannot.
tastes good, doesn't it?
The beer tastes good. I've done it for one reason. Where I grew up, what I was taught, and what I expected of my people that did not happen. Also, I've burnt my bridges with them.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
Um,
I don't want to. Like I said, we didn't talk about politics, and I apologize for dragging us into them. I know we're almost to dessert, so we're almost to where we can talk about this kind of stuff. But who wants the strawberry crepes? Who's in?
she
Who's in
raises
for
up.
those?
She raises up two hands.
Anybody else?
Oh,
Anyone? Anyone?
yes. Yes,
Art'll
please.
have one.
A crepe is a very fine, eggy pancake that is fried crispy and golden brown on each side. And then they put
Yes,
fresh
we all
strawberries and cream in it, and they roll
We
it
are
up.
not uncivilized people here.
we know what a crepe is.
You do? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
It's a local delicacy. Otherwise, this guy wouldn't have mentioned it by name. He would have had to explain it to you.
Yeah.
He assumed that you would know what one was.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, crepe is probably in English. It's probably. I think it's a French word, so it's probably
It
an
is
appropriation.
French.
It's an appropriation from Terran anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Crepe.
so
Actually, it's crepe. It's crepe.
No, it's not. It's crepe.
you gotta put. Yeah, there's no R. I mean, you don't. You swallow
You
the R.
uvulate the R. You do not roll the R.
Crepe.
You Spaniard, you.
Exactly. That what they that and all the lisping they do in Barcelona. Anyway, so he brings out the plates and he also starts has her start to warm a wine. So we have some mulled wine to go with this. He says, are you any of you fans of the leaf? And of course, uh,
I'm friends with Leif.
yeah, but Zyvan immediately raises his hand and he says, "You guys are more than welcome to try some of that as well if you prefer. I've got it in all of the popular forms." And he points
Wait a-
out there's a snifter,
what?
there's a snifter jar, and there's a bowl for tobacco
What?
for a cigar, and
I'll take a cigar.
Freya,
What?
a cigar.
Yes.
What's wrong?
For a female,
Yes.
not considered de rigueur.
what world
I
are you
am.
on? What world are you on?
Nycos.
You're going to use conventions of the old world on us? He kind of chuckles.
It's just such an inelegant thing to stick in your mouth.
But
For a
Very
woman.
elegant thing. You're thinking your mouth.
Okay.
Being
wow.
a soldier is rather inelegant too for a lady, so
Yes.
Inelegant?
And the foot bow as a weapon also is not exactly elegant for a woman either.
Nope. But who cares if an oryx is charging down on you?
That's right.
exactly.
That's
so
right. The needs of the many. And he raises his glass.
To the
There's a
needs of the
reason,
many.
many! And I take a sniff of the
May
cigar.
justice be done.
Okay, so I'm gonna smell the cigar. What do I smell?
Well, okay. So the halflings do border the line between the sativa and other weeds, shall we say? So it's a rather pungent aroma, but they've wrapped it in a mint outer leaf, and so it's a really kind of a smooth draw. And it's a slow. You're talking a 3 or 4 hour cigar. So I hope you're going to be enjoying the evening and the sunset. After sunset, we don't have as many troubles with the neighbors, do we? Zygon and Zywin kind of chuckles because you've already convinced me these are good people.
Thank you.
Can I honestly? Oh wait, when are we allowed to talk politics?
Oh, now that
No.
we've moved past the dessert and onto the decompression phase.
Hmm.
Well, it used to be a gentlemen and ladies, if I remember correctly, separated. Women did their thing, men did their thing. But I much more prefer the modern times where all is.
They kind of
equal.
chuckle and they go, Yes, yes. That's
Okay,
again.
okay, wait, hold up, hold up. If she's gonna do all this in her character and whatever, this is so far out of
Yes.
the survivalist raised in Alaska,
Right. This is
you
not
know,
none of that
butch
dainty stuff.
No, no, no. Yeah,
huntress.
wait a moment. I was raised properly. I had a good education, but
Gene,
I was a
Gene,
survivalist.
Gene.
What?
No, the issue is that you're becoming an expert on
Everything.
proper English society circa
Pomp and circumstance.
which is not going to be anything that you would have disdained it even on Earth. If you
Yeah.
lived in if you lived in Alaska, you'd have laughed at that because it's a waste of resources. It's a waste of knowledge.
Okay.
Not to mention that it's ancient history by the time that you were on Earth.
Extremely
This is-
ancient history. Yeah,
This
we're
is
talking,
like talking like you would know the table setting for ancient Greece.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
right. So you're playing with you're playing on information that you as a character don't have. You as a player, I don't doubt you understand this stuff, but you as a character wouldn't even care.
Okay.
So the fact that they're all sitting together smoking, that's fine. You'd be used to that kind of thing, but it wouldn't. This formulaic meal thing is actually a bit of a stretch. You're like, wow, normally you just bring out the food and just eat,
Yeah.
and you don't take 2.5 hours for a meal like we just did fundamentally.
Mm.
Or courses. All the food
Right.
went on the table and you ate it while
Right.
it's hot.
Right. So
Okay.
you're overplaying your personal awareness of the situation.
Okay.
Also, there's a bit of upstaging a bit because the others I was having conversations with equally, and then I end up talking with you more about those details than we need to.
Okay.
Okay?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Just making it's a matter of awareness. We all have our faults, and just remember when California falls off in the ocean, it won't be San Andreas' fault.
It's all fun if it's fun for the goose and the gander.
Yes.
Mm.
So, as a matter of fact, that's kind of the point. Anyway, so when we're ready to retire for that, he invites you to come upstairs, and it takes him a while to get there. So he suggests that you go ahead and go on up. But there's a solarium on the second floor on the back of the house.
I offer my hand for it to help.
Oh, thank you. And he actually puts his hand on your shoulder, because the issue is that he doesn't have any strength in that one leg at all. So he has to. Now, this is something that Gene personally would know that none of us have ever had to deal with. But the idea of trying to navigate a staircase with a false leg has got to be daunting.
The problem with him is there. It's so easy for a ball and peg to slip.
Well, it's squared off, but the issue, the issue for him is that the fact that the staircase has a leading edge on each step. So if he'd have had a boot with a toe, he'd had even more trouble because it would catch on that. So he's got to basically hop up and then pull the other leg up, steady it, and take the next step. So it does take you a while to get to the top. The rest of you can make it up to the solarium. And what you find interesting is that as you go into the solarium, the glass has been modified so that the sky outside is pale sky blue.
Pretty.
Ah, that's Earth, sky.
No,
It's clo-
no,
No?
that's Nycos' sky.
It is.
Old Nycos.
It's the way of my grandfathers.
What iterations was the sky blue?
From the first through the third. Then Nycos got moved in the fourth. And then I got moved again in the fifth. And I got moved again in the sixth. Then nobody found the engines in the seventh, and we are now. Not that he would know that, but that's for you as players, not for...
Not for knowledge
Right.
in character.
Right.
I'm too hungry after this. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, if we just talk through the best meal potentially on the planet, and the the automaton who couldn't enjoy it now has to go find sustenance.
Yeah. She brings the brandy snifter up with her, and
You're just drinking the beer.
I drank the beer with the crepes. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, that's so. See, that's the class that I expect from an Alaskan. That's you don't mince there. It's like, oh, those are two good flavors. Ooh, to me not so much, but okay. So So you're bringing a snifter because
Yeah, a snifter
you
of
say
brandy.
but the bottle was downstairs, and actually it was under the watchful eye and hand control of Freya, who seemed to really enjoy it.
You didn't even have the lid to protect
Yeah,
the oils and scents out.
she's being a little more. She's more uncultured because she's from Alaska. It's no big deal.
Oh,
Don't worry about it. You kind of
I noticed swirl it and sniff it and actually warm it up in her hands.
right. But I'm talking about the fact that he has that little card that they put over the top of it to hold the aroma in. But anyway, so you get up to the landing, and there's plenty of seats here for everybody. They're a bit like the Adirondack chairs, so they actually intend for you to lean back into them so you can look into the sky. Take in the sights of the mountain range beyond.
I really want to talk about the castle that comes out of the ocean.
Oh,
Or
because
the
now
river.
now is the formal time we can talk about politics and such. And just to give you guys a bit of context, there is the discussion on the castle Trantor. Some believe that it never existed. Some believe that it existed and was destroyed. Some believe that it was lost in the penumbra, and still others believe that it is buried buried under the lake.
Hmm. Has anybody gone under the lake to look for it?
Why would you go under the lake? That's terrifying. There's monsters in the water. We
That is. Wait, what type of monsters?
Oh. He says that's actually for talk for long after the sun sets and we light the fires and have our tales of danger and woe. But for now, suffice it to say that the lake yonder is the place over which Trantor once stood.
Oh,
He points
interesting.
to four outcroppings in the rocks, and you can see a bit of rusted curl at the edge of each of those ridges that he points at. He says those are the anchor chain hooks by which they held Trantor in place.
A flying
Wait,
city?
did it float?
Well, of course, you saw some of the remains, no doubt. If you passed this direction, you passed over the Hanover fence.
The fence that was
Oh.
floating in the air.
Yeah, made from the stones of the foundation of Trantor, which, and this is when Symes switches his attitude a bit, which is why I have my theory that it was long ago destroyed, and all that's left are the few stones that have not yet been unturned, so to speak.
The
I'm
ends
back.
of the chains, are they cut or sawn?
Each of them only has that final ring sticking out of the stone. Whatever chains were connecting to the city itself have long since decayed or been dragged off.
Oh.
Which, now, at which point Zigan says, which is to my point, the city flew away and crashed into the lake, and that's why my theory is that it's there. And
I wonder it's still floating somewhere. Pushed by.
yes. How quaint. How quaint. Why would you consider that to be the case, visitor from another world?
Well, we don't have floating cities. I mean, we might have space stations, but not floating cities.
Space stations?
Well, if you go so far beyond your planet,
I
there's
know
no gravity.
I know of a place in Elsadar where you can rent storage. Is that what you mean? A space station?
No, not exactly.
Can someone catch me up for 2 seconds?
No.
Sure, catch
Oh,
them
we-
up, guys.
Oh, they're discussing the city of Trantor. That there's only
Flying City of Trantor over Tralera went missing a long time ago.
yes.
And
was
they said that
apparently-
there's no creatures in the water.
There are monsters in the water. The wall is a leftover of the foundation stones of Trantor. I asked him, were the chains cut by any
Okay,
chance?
for clarification, there were 4 pillars that he points out that you can see from here that surround the lake, and each of those he claims was the anchor stones for the floating city. And they go, floating city? And so that's when he explained that, yes, the city was held in place by 4 monstrous chains, which have long since broken or been dragged away.
Or removed.
John, have you seen Castle in the Sky?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a reference to it?
The Ghibli film.
I didn't know there was such a thing, but I have a castle. I have had a Castle in the Sky since first iteration.
Did
Oh,
you watch?
there's a movie called Castle in the Sky that
Okay.
is about a ancient city that drifts over the planet that was lost long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a robot that comes and visits from it.
And then it's
Oh yeah, you
tracked-
told me that story. You told me that story. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was
Well,
wondering if you stole that from that.
on our travels, we'll keep a lookout just in case.
No, the anchored city goes a long way back to other books that I've read long.
Yeah,
long
the
ago.
floating city is not a new thing.
I doubt it was.
And the fact that it was chained down suggests more to the story too. But
Maybe we'll look for it one day. That'd be
Well,
some cool thing
We're
to
going to
have.
be covering some distance. We'll just keep a lookout for it.
Have you tried looking up?
well, that's the reason why we're out here. You'll see when the sun sets.
Okay.
So Nimbus is in the process of descending behind the horizon. The sky's blue deepens, and as it becomes almost completely dark for just maybe 5-10 minutes on the horizon, about 2 inches above the horizon line, signs will actually point towards it and say, "Watch, watch, watch," and you'll see this glistening light that you've never seen before. 2 inches. Yeah, well, at this range, it's about 2 feet from the horizon line. So up in the sky, for just a little bit, you see something, a reflected light.
There's something there, reflecting the light of the sun.
Do you have something that we could use to track the sites
This
on our
is,
ship?
from what I understand, this is the only place on Nycos where it can be seen because it's the only place where the glass remains.
Hart is going to do a analysis that, judging by its distance above the horizon and its perceived elevation and angle of the light pattern coming from it, should be able to triangulate the distance and direction. And
well, only if you knew the actual size of the object. So you're gonna have to give me an estimate of what you think it is.
I wouldn't need the size of the object, only the refraction of the glass, the angle that it's coming from, the known trajectory of the Earth, and the angle at which it's coming towards me.
Okay, it's about a mile. No, it'd be about what is it? 13 miles up, 80,000 feet or higher.
Wow.
Its distance it's somewhere over. Looking, because you're looking to the west, it's somewhere over World's Edge or someplace in that area,
Or over the sea.
or over the water, right?
Let's go.
This far north, it's probably still over World's Edge.
Oh man, it's somewhere to go after we're done with our mission.
Hart would tell them that.
Listen to me. 80,000 feet, you wouldn't be able to breathe.
Wait, we don't know yet. He said he didn't tell
No,
us.
she does. She knows, and and Hart hasn't specifically said what he's learned.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'll wait
You're
till you.
you're playing with information. you
It's
don't
many
play with.
miles away and at least 80,000 feet up.
So yeah.
And you can say, let's go.
Let's go. This is where I
No,
want
you
to.
wouldn't be able to breathe.
Oh.
He's right.
Would you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Art. Could you bring it down?
Anyway,
No.
he chuckles and says, "Yes, some of us think that might be it, but if that's the case, how would we be able to see it at this extreme distance? What would be
Glass?
required for us to be able to see it at this distance?"
The reflect.
Well, the glass
Light doesn't stop.
light doesn't stop. Of course, light stops. The sun goes down at night.
Not the light that's hitting that. It's so high up, It still has the light of the sun.
And he says, wait for it. And 5 minutes later, it goes out.
Yes, because the sun has moved too far away for it to reflect the light.
There is a theory that's called a spherical Nycos. Now, if it was a flat Nycos, then yes, it would go out when the light goes out. But since it's a spherical Nycos, the angle of the light
You
that
should
comes
pull
out
it,
will continue to hit
pull
that.
it, pull out a marble and show us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Zywin goes, "Oh, your friends are worth something after all. This will lead to great conversations at the council."
Perhaps you should reconsider your visitor theory.
Hmm.
Rules, I mean.
Our visitor
You
rules?
can.
Well, the problem with that is I can't get my project done if we keep having to do this. I mean, the sound, the disturbance to the plants really makes it hard to do the work that I'm trying to do.
Well,
Which
what are
is
you trying to make or do?
He goes, "Oh, I really don't want to talk about myself." And of course,
Uh-oh.
Symes is going, "Come on, come on."
Well, you're not talking about yourself, you're talking about your project.
Your
Projects, people who devote themselves to projects accomplish things.
Well, see, that is exactly why I had to leave the bailiwick, because people there just are so small-minded. And he chuckles
mm,
because he's talking about halflings.
Okay, I appreciate the humor.
how do you
And
know that's funny?
she chuckled. I understand completely uh, small minded people. But what's funny is he said it.
You
And
making
it
fun of a
is.
race now?
No,
Freya's
no.
skull casing is very small.
Well, I think the problem is it's a little empty sometimes of certain things.
This is not about insults to each other. Come on, fellas. And
Okay,
he uses the term fellas even though you're in the room, Valara.
that's okay. I'm one of the guys.
Well, yeah. Um, he says, I trust you're enjoying that cigar. I wish you long ashes.
Thank you.
He's
Wait, you talking to me or
No, I'm definitely talking to you,
Freya.
That's why I said
Freya. Well, Freya.
because
Freya.
you were the one that was smoking the cigar earlier, and he's on like his third bowl of his pipe because he is really likes the tobacco from here. So
Mm,
May the hair on your toes never fall out.
he looks down and goes, "I have hair on my toes." You notice he is wearing a pair of boots.
I heard that somewhere.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's an ancient halfling
Yes,
breeding.
there were ancient halflings that had hair on their toes. We midges have bred that out, so to speak. We tend to like very nice shoes. As a matter of fact, he goes oh, and he looks down. He looks at the sun and he looks at the sky and goes, "Oh, I've kind of overstayed my welcome, but
Heart's head lights up a little bit. Ding.
yeah."
May the soles of your shoes never wear out.
Oh, well, thank you.
That rhymes.
Wait.
Yes.
what about your work? But okay, I
Okay.
won't.
Well,
I won't
no. You're right. You're right. I get distracted. He says, I often forget that I have a ball and chain, and she usually requires me to be home for the sunset because she enjoys this period of the day as well. And now I've already failed, so I might as well stay and enjoy myself. And he goes over, starts to stuff a fourth bowl for his pipe. Hope you don't mind. And of course, Simon.
Smythe.
Why? I got the name wrong. How did I lose the name?
I thought it was Smythe.
No, it's Symes. Symes.
Symes.
Symes, of course, waves it off and says, "Yeah, go ahead, whatever." He says, "Okay, so we're back to my project," and he finishes loading the pipe. He says, "Okay, so you guys have had experiences with life and death, right?
Yes, personally, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Have you faced death?
I have. I've died and then came back.
Oh, may I use you as my willing accomplice in this experimentation then?"
What? What are you doing?
Heart looks somber. I am become death,
He hasn't. He's just getting
destroyer of
big-headed.
worlds.
He met some undead friends, and he cut off their heads by accident.
A
And
vehicle told me so.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Wow, that's a
So what?
down. That's a total downer. No, no, this is
Yeah.
this is kind of lighthearted. Please let me give my demonstration. So, he says, "Come
Okay.
on, come up here, please, Freya, if you would, and
Okay.
have a seat in
I,
this chair."
I put the cigar in my mouth and I sit down in the chair.
He goes, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." He brings a tray over and puts your cigar and says, "I'm sorry. For this, we need your complete relaxation." Are you familiar with the works of uh, Sigmund Freud?
No, but no way.
How about Alfred Mesmer?
But your mother is.
Nice, nice.
Ha ha
Are we
ha ha
are we
ha.
talking in
No,
meta
in game,
or
in game. Remember, these guys are aware of the mortals in their past.
no, neither.
Ah, well, Mesmer argued that the human spirit is actually that of an animal, and that our animal nature can be brought forth. And my experimentation has been to validate whether or not we can reach back into time and find our previous selves.
Ooh, let's do this.
So he counts backwards slowly. The rest of you are watching. He's um, moving his hand slowly in front of Freya's face. Freya, go ahead and make a save with disadvantage because it seems like you're willing for this. It's up to you. You can roll it without the disadvantage if you want to try to prevent it.
I'm not gonna prevent it. D20, he said.
Yep.
He's also
I
succumbing to
got
the
a
fan.
6.
Yes.
I know. I gotta get up to get my.
He's
I have to
clearly
roll.
his headset is clearly not a fan of the experimentation.
I got a 6.
You got a 6. Okay. So you pretty soon are completely relaxed. Your eyes close, and he raises his hand. And as he raises his hand, your body goes completely prone in the air.
Like I'm floating.
Your head is still against the headrest of the chair, but the rest of your body is floated up to a flat prone. And as you're laying there in the air, he says, "In order to live again, you must first taste of death, and make your first death save."
All right.
She stops breathing.
9.
He goes, "I'm going to need your help, people. I need the faith in the room that this will work. Please, lend your good thoughts towards your friend Freya. Make a second roll, Freya."
Okay. She actually prays silently.
I got a 2.
Oh, this is not good. She's slipping. Please, place your hands on her, folks. Please put your hand upon her and will her to live. She must live.
There's a hard click click as he locks and loads his medical arm.
Yeah, nice.
I think I need. I'm gonna have to re-roll this.
What was the third roll? Oh,
It was an 8.
Oh, yep. You'll need to re-roll. So use your name tag. This could be bad.
Yeah.
Hart comes over and places his medical device next to her face.
I'm gonna go with. I got 15.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I need complete silence, but I do need you to incline your thoughts towards living in the realm of Nycos. Please call her back in your mind. Please, Freya, return to us. Roll again.
I'm scared. I should not be using the dice program
What
for
did
this.
you roll? What did you?
I rolled a 3.
Okay. He says he snaps his finger. Her body slumps into the chair away from your hands. She has entered the realm of the dead.
Oops.
Right.
He goes over and takes the draw on his pipe for a second. Now, you would think that such a thing is the end, but let me show you what I've been working on. And he walks over and he pulls a round sphere out of his hand and
Out
puts
of
it
his
inside.
hand.
He basically produces this little silver sphere. And he pulls her jaw open and puts the sphere inside of her mouth and closes it. Make another death save.
Ay, God, this is terrifying.
Use dice.
I am. I'm gonna use dice. Ah!
Now he's gonna go through the windstorm again.
Well,
Brave through the winds of the afterlife.
Alright.
Struggle, Freya. Return to us. Do
20.
not
I got
stay.
it. Natural 20.
Yeah, okay.
Natural 20.
Boom! As he says that, come back to us. Return to the land of the living. You cough. Your eyes roll forward in your head. Your back arches. You feel the thing in your mouth. His hand is in front of you, offering for you to spit back into it. Okay.
Swallow it.
So you spit the sphere back out. He takes that sphere, puts it in his pocket, and he says, "And now, she is reborn, understanding more about the realm of the dead than ever. She won't be able to tell you anything about it for now, but soon the memories of where she was and what had happened to her will return."
I think this is her third visit.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
It's
No
because
wonder-
she died. She died when she was reborn as the after her thieving.
Oh, that's
with the
right.
bears.
That's right. They killed her there too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it happened with the limb.
Yep. She drowned in the limb. Yep.
I didn't drown in the limb. I got burnt. I got blown up by the fire in the library.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Burned up in the library. That's right.
And this is the third time.
No wonder it was so hard to bring you back. I almost lost you for real that time.
What was I supposed to learn?
Oh, you'll know in a few days when death talks to you.
Oh.
I have made a connection between you and your true source in this world.
God?
Some would call him that. Others would call him Vol.
Oh. Well, is there anything I should ask him on your behalf?
Oh, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it until the 3 days have passed.
Well, yeah.
Wait 3 days.
Oh no, like when I meet him, do you want me to ask him anything?
Oh, it's not for me to know what you find out from death. It's for you.
Okay. Where did you get that orb?
Oh, I make them.
Can I have one?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, they are for yet further experimentation, and I do not know yet whether they are safe for reuse.
Well, save one for me when you do know.
Well, you are one of my subjects now, so I think that we are probably connected in ways that you and I, either one, cannot comprehend.
That sounds lovely. I need my cigar and my drink now.
Ever closer to death.
Ever closer.
I'm probably the closest person to death.
Anyway, my attempt is to awaken something that's been dead a really long time, and I haven't been successful yet. And so,
Vol?
Oh no, Vol is real. Vol's very tangible. I'm not pursuing it personally. It's dangerous, but there are those that do. Rumor has it there's a giant someplace that has dedicated his life to returning Vol to the high seat among the 10.
Oh.
I did not know that Vol was related to death.
Yeah, for the last to fall, the first to rise. I said that wrong. The last to rise, the first to fall. She will come to save them all.
Wall is female
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and one of the gods of Nycos.
No, he's one of the first of the Veils.
Wait, he or she? Are we talking about two different people?
No, we're speaking of Vol. Vol is as I said, one of the manifestations. He is the first of the 10.
But didn't somebody say she? I feel like somebody said she.
I did say she. Why?
So
Did,
he's a
why?
he and he's a she?
She is Vol.
And he is the first of them all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, she.
Okay.
She is. She, I'm sorry. No, you. If I said that, I made a misspeak. She was the first of them all. I did not mean
And
to put the
she.
masculine on it. If I did, it's my fault.
Hey,
What?
Oh, okay.
So what does this god stand for?
He's not. It's not a god. You guys keep using that word. He's the first of the Veils.
Oh.
he's the first of the personifications by which many mortals shield themselves from their true natures.
This,
Wow, you are wise. You are a wise heart
For what?
for having said that. That was well stated.
What did I say?
You didn't hear
that's
what you
even
said.
creepier.
You didn't hear what you said. I don't know if I can even report it. It literally repeated. That was actually so well stated that it is the first of the manifestations of that by which men hide their true intention.
No, their true nature.
Their true nature. Their true nature is what you said. Because you're speaking of the actual definition of a veil.
That's correct.
You meant to say that. I know you did. That was well. I mean, I don't think you'd realize that you said it, or maybe you did.
Oh, no, I did. I'm just saying that
Right.
heart is not necessarily the one who thinks of things in that sense because they don't necessarily apply to him. So he
Right.
doesn't know the import of what he just said.
Right.
He
Exactly.
just defined it in his own way.
Right. But I called you wise for doing so.
Grazie.
She just stands there and
Craig.
stays out of the conversation of veils and.
Hey, you should do this on her too.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh. Well, then that was a wonderful journey to my afterlife, I guess.
You'll see. Not necessarily your afterlife. You spoke with death. You were in the presence of death.
Okay.
Death has nothing to do with Vol.
Of course not. Death comes
Okay.
death comes for all, even Vol.
God.
In his hall,
Which is tall.
where he has a ball.
And from whence you will fall.
With. Damn it.
What?
From which he will call for Cywin's aid.
Oh, please,
I am curious.
I thought he had a doll.
What's
There
up, doll?
Is it because I am Terran that this will not work for me?
Yes, unfortunately, you have but one soul.
you go. I have many souls.
Well,
All right.
he looks at you and goes, "Well, at least you have two." Well, so
Oh,
does
cool.
she right now, but
Who?
Valara has two. So do you
Ooh.
right now, but
Do I have one?
oh, you're so again with the wisdom. You will have once you know yourself.
Ooh.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go to sleep for 3 days and then I'm joking.
That's not how that works.
I know I'm joking.
Press the fast forward button, boys. Fast forward.
Okay.
What about Rocky?
And back, Rocky. He's probably sitting down at the table, still eating scraps, because I haven't heard from him in hours.
Are you there?
He may have fallen asleep. A dwarf with a fine meal like that, he's probably in trouble. He's probably still gorging.
Rocky. Is Bullwinkle with you?
No.
Apparently not.
Alright.
So
She
that happens.
doesn't ask about two souls. She does not ask. She does not ask. She does not ask.
Clearly, you want to ask, but okay.
I ask, why does she have 2 souls?
Oh, you do too.
Oh, okay.
Points at your boots. Remember, he's fascinated with boots.
Ah, thank you.
I need shoes.
Oh, good. He looks down at your big monstrous feet. He goes, I
He
don't
needs
know. I
sandals.
don't know a leather worker that could make those because of the sharp angle with which those dainty tootsies of yours touch the ground.
But then I would have a soul.
Hmm. Hmm.
Wait,
He goes,
doesn't
good
your
point, good point. And Symes gets up and walks into the. Actually, he starts to walk and then whistles. And Mary comes up. He says, "I'm sorry for being so abrupt. Could you go get me a pair of? Bring me the loafers." She looks at him kind of funny. He says, "You know the brown ones." "Yes, I know. I can't wear them anymore. Please bring them." And so he a little bit. She comes up and he turns around and presents you. He says, "They're nothing special, but I can no longer wear them, obviously, and they were important to me back in my military days. But as they're no longer useful to me, I now offer to you my shoes," and gives you 2 shoes.
What military service were you?
Second World War?
Did I lose you?
Mr. Symes.
Times.
Did I click
You
something and end up losing everybody? Because I don't hear anybody.
John, can you
Oh,
hear me?
John, you're getting bald.
I will go save
Hello?
him.
I can see my
we,
microphone's still working.
yeah,
John,
You
you're
hear me?
becoming bald.
Yes, we can. We can hear you. We can hear you.
What happened to
We
my
can
volume
hear
control?
you. We
Yikes.
can hear you. Yes, indeed.
Once upon a time, there was a.
we can hear you. We can hear you. Well, I not quite can hear you.
You just interrupted my story.
That
Damn.
was horrible. That was horrible.
Did I fix it?
Yeah, that fixed it.
Heart helps.
Heart's
Fixing.
helping fixing. And so he gives you the shoes.
Mr. Symes, I would not be selfish. You have 1 foot, and I need only 1 soul. So he gives him back the other one.
Well,
But
in
he
that
can't.
case, my good friend, I would take this one, and he switches with you. He says, because you clearly need to have the right soul.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well said, sir. Well said.
heart feels warm.
That may be the oil. It has a residual effect after multiple doses. So you might want to lay off that stuff till tomorrow. He says, I'll go one further. He says, I do have a pint of the stuff left over. He says, let me go have Mary bring that up for you.
Thank you.
Good.
And there's like I said, the bottles of brandy if you want them. He says a pittance, a couple of
Yeah.
silvers, and you could have a bottle of the brandy.
All right.
The dwarves unfortunately finished off the Schlitz. So the only other thing that I have is I have an old Jägermeister bottle. Would that be acceptable to you?
I prefer Heineken, but
Yeah, not you. I'm talking to.
Like
Gene.
Commander Queen.
Oh yes, I actually would love to have a bottle of brandy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's what this means. I'm sorry, I'm by
Or
them all.
does that? Or does that?
He offered you a
Yeah, a Jägermeister.
Jaeger.
I will take a Jägermeister.
Yeah, it's the last of
you.
the bottles that I have. The last
Ooh.
that apparently will be the last of the shipments as well. We are in dire times indeed.
Why so?
Well, we already bothered you with local politics. I don't want to really bother you with global stuff because you clearly are on a mission of your own. So
Well, we can always come back, and if we can.
if you endeavor to return, I'm sure we can have additional good times, and you can tell me more about your travels, and in return, I can offer you additional good things from my life.
Oh, and we can do the same.
You have been a very kind host. I
Well,
thank you.
you are most welcome. I trust that your crew will find their way back to the boats. I don't know that the dwarves can handle earthly beer so well. I don't know how that goes. I don't know. In my experience, things from other places tend to be somewhat dangerous to your digestive system, so they may not have a good day of it tomorrow. So
Excellent.
Gee,
Yeah, we're gonna have to carry them to the ship.
no, they went back under their own power. They were fine with that, and
Okay.
Mary did send the rest of the chowder with you, so you'll have enough for probably tomorrow, and then you'll be. Yeah, I wouldn't save it much longer than that. It does have some seafood in it, so.
She slips Mary 5 silver. Thank you for the great meal.
She goes, "Do you often repay kindness with gelt?"
It's a Gelp.
Elt,
Oh,
Jewish word for coin.
you should just give her a hug.
You go to your friend's house and they fix you dinner, and then you pat them on the back and give them a $20 bill. Is that how you do things where you come from?
Good job,
No, not
kid.
actually. She reaches
Give her
out
a
and
hug.
hugs her. Thank you very
There we
much.
go. Assault.
That's much more appreciated. You spend more time hugging, you'll spend less time in guilt, I should say.
I shall try.
Yes, you should try. That is true. All right, so wrapping up, he says, "I do have accommodations if you wish to spend the night. We are late into the night as it is, but I also appreciate needing to return to your own beds and such, and I do
Well,
not want to be
actually,
presumptuous about your decisions to stay."
I would appreciate staying. The accommodations aboard the ship aren't exactly to my size.
What?
Uh,
What?
they aren't. They're a dwarven ship. It's built
Not
for
a dwarven
dwarves.
ship; it's a gnomish ship. Don't even insult the
It's a
dwarves.
Nomi. Okay, it's a Nomi ship. Okay?
Uh huh.
It-
Okay.
It's a Nomi ship and the quarters are Gnomish.
Well, okay. I just will warn you. Like I said, there are side effects to partaking of the wonders of this place. Are you certain you wish to stay?
I'm gonna let her
Okay,
stay.
you said side effects.
Hmm?
Can can you elucidate?
Unfortunately, I cannot because they vary from person to person, and sometimes they're dire and sometimes they're benevolent. So
Wait,
you've
what?
you've witnessed a friend die and live again. That is an astonishing thing to consider. Do you wish to be in a place where life and death is so easily interchanged?
Yes.
No, I was just longing for a real bed.
You may stay if you choose. I'm just clarifying. I don't want to be. I cannot speak for where you should go. I should not speak for what your intentions are. My intentions were altruistic in sharing with you my meal. My associate warned you about the days and the nights here. Now he was
Okay.
veiled about it, and I tried to shut him up. Now that's me in the meta, but
Then I will be
Oh,
prudent and go back aboard ship.
okay. Longingly looking towards those upper windows, thinking, "Oh, those bedrooms we walked by look so nice."
Yeah, true. But it
Yeah,
was
Jane needs to learn how to realize that sometimes an offer is only in kindness.
huh?
Politeness, I mean.
Yes,
politeness. Mm,
Okay.
there we go.
my
I
pipe
shake his
my
hand.
pipe vanished. That's cool.
Yep. It's telling you need to stop smoking.
I don't smoke the pipe smokes. I'm just a sucker.
Ha ha
Ah,
ha.
All right, and so we return to the boat, and the gnomes are sluggish about their duties for the night, but they still nonetheless are able to light the lanterns and pull up the ropes and all of that, and leave the anchor and all of that, so you're able to hold your position overnight.
okay.
Mm.
When you w-
I'm gonna. I would like to place. What's it called? Alarm around the ship, if it is possible.
okay,
So, and this is something that goes into my head, like to wake me up if anything happens.
okay, so it only targets you. It is not the full bell thing. It's just a sound for you. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
silent alarm.
right.
Art, can I ask one favor when we get somewhere we can modify the ship?
For what?
Could I have 2 rooms put together so
No,
I can?
nobody has a room. They're all sleeping in hammocks. Remember, your hammock is stretched between the two masts, so to speak, on the vessel.
We can build a ship if that's what you're trying to say.
But she'd like to be inside quarters. You have to
Hart
have.
will Hart is thinking of a way to use all that extra wood from all the glaives.
Is it the boat
Oh,
is
and he's
so?
he's probably finished the propeller too, by the way.
Is it that the
Especially since you had the
the
snipe and everybody
draft is
else is
so
relaxing.
narrow that the draft isn't enough to allow for a room?
Right,
Oh,
because they're tiny
we
size.
should have we should have bought a ship that was more
This is the
cheaper.
only ship that was there.
Well, it was the ship in your price range, and it was a ship that was available. So,
Well, no, it was the only ship that was there.
yeah.
Because we had a much larger price range.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
that's
we
fine.
could always sell it, and if we get enough, and buy a larger one, I'll ship even what I have.
Yes. Anyway, as you bed down for the night, about 3:15 or 4 in the morning, your little bell will go off. The guards who should have been up and around have all also fallen asleep. So you are literally the only person aboard the ship that is awake when you.
Hart is
Man
also
the
awake.
stations! Man the stations! Arm your guards! Everyone wake up!
Well,
I'm yelling.
well, okay. So the alarm goes off, but the alarm goes off because there's a rather stiff breeze blowing when there wasn't any when you went to sleep.
Oh, well, I didn't specify life or death situation or something?
No, alarm actually triggers when anything moves within a certain area. So literally, it's like an alarm. So when the crew wasn't there to say batten down one of the lower yard arms or whatever, there'd be a little bit of a flap of one of the sails and cause the alarm to trigger because
Or a
you weren't
loose
expecting
rope.
one. Yeah, but anyway, so you just awaken. I just want to know how you respond. Do you immediately start yelling, batten down the hatches, prepare, call to
Yeah,
beat to quarters and all of that nonsense?
yep,
Is your
yep.
reaction?
That is
Okay.
my reaction.
Okay, as you're doing that, there is a pale glow just slightly to the east of you. And on the perimeter line of that outer fence of the house is now a wall of swirling air. It's a torrential rainfall from above. You can smell it in the air, but the rain is falling towards the property line. Furthermore, the wall of air is spinning at almost hurricane speeds, and you see pieces and bits of the house that you saw yesterday in the wind. You see daffodils uprooted. You see some of the wooden furniture splintering and collapsing. The entire wall of book pieces goes flying by.
No.
You're shouting. Everybody's getting up and trying to get around. And in the time that it takes, the storm that strikes, it fades out. And by 4:15 in the morning, the storm has completely stopped.
And the house is gone.
In the darkness, you can't see the structure any longer. There's no silhouette against
Dancing lights.
Okay, so you cast your lights across there, and you see what must have been the foundation of that house standing there. There's nothing left mechanically of the house itself except for the nameplate, which is laying on the ground.
It says unless.
And the nameplate said what?
Nothing. I was
He's making a joke.
making a joke.
The name still says Argon Alley.
Bring down the ship.
I descend low enough for you to descend if you wish.
Yep.
Okay.
Walk towards the land where the foundation was at.
Okay. It's covered with debris and dross. The nameplate looks like it's laying on top of the dross, which is kind of odd because it shouldn't be. It shows the age and weathering of who knows how many countless years since the house actually stood.
So, it's like we went back in time or later in life, in the morning, and then we stood.
It's a storm.
Oh, oh, that's just still a little bit sad. I get back up
You,
and head
you
back to.
are you going to take the nameplate?
I would like to, but I don't want to. Am I
It's
allowed
it's
to?
big, but it's big, but it's not unmanageable. It's
Yeah.
it's basically a 2.5 feet by 9-10 inches in size.
Uh,
All right. This is gonna be. Well, I'm gonna have a tavern now.
Is there a reason why you're taking the nameplate from the house?
Because I love this place. And I would like something to remember by. If it's destroyed, what do you mean? Is
Well,
there?
you go, holy crap! What about my brandy? What about the oil? All of the items that you got are still there.
Wait, I thought we took it all. We left it.
No, you took it.
Uh,
That's what I'm saying. You have all the stuff that you took, all literally the mementos they offered. The little moonstone in Hart's forehead, for example, or in his chest
oh,
plate,
okay.
for example, is still there. And then he put it so
Oh,
that it was directly in the center of your heart emblem, by the way.
I thought so.
oh.
Well,
I
actually,
thought,
I did have a slot for one in the little star above the T.
Sure, sounds good.
I thought. As a minute, I thought John was saying, hinting at me to take the thing. I was just gonna look at it, the ground, and see if there
No,
was
I'm not saying
survivors.
if you want to take it, you can take it. He's just asking you why you're bringing it on board the ship. And that's probably more than likely a Hart just not understanding. I mean, remember, he's still trying to figure out identity and things like that. And so he thinks of the name tag as identifying the place, perhaps.
Yeah, it is the place's name.
Hmm. Right.
It's kind of like taking someone's tombstone, isn't that right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Or kind
All
of like,
right.
or like taking somebody's nameplate off their chest against their will.
Hmm.
All right, then I'm gonna ask the heart for the wood, one of those woods, the wood pikes, and then if he gives it to me, I'm gonna place it into the ground, hang the sign up, loose, tie it up, and then let it hang there, like it, as to say this place is where this is at. Voila, and head up.
Okay, so
How do you?
you just basically mount the sign standing up. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good, and I'll pat him 7 times.
Alrighty. So the house is gone. The stones, however, the 4 stones around the lake are still there. So all that part of the story must have been true as well. You still see the anchor rings on the 4 corners of the stones.
Okay.
Oh.
And from the elevation of the craft, there does seem to be something rather massive under the water.
Oh. Can I
Did we check that out?
use the dancing lights to move into the water?
Mm-hmm. As they pass
Uh-huh.
into the water, something moves of a rather large size at one end of the lake, and you see the surface of the lake ripple heavily.
Oh, he said monsters were in the lake.
I'm gonna have the lights follow the monster, like where the
Well, as the light
okay.
moves towards it, you see the light go out that way.
All right, okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm walking.
Why?
Let's get back in the
We
ship.
should go check it out.
Yeah, Chart. You should go inside the water and check it out.
Okay.
Hart, that was massive. If it was something like, well,
Meta,
God knows.
someone please save me. I need help.
Right. It's good.
I need help.
This is bad. This is bad.
Yeah,
Hart-
let's go, says Hart.
Hart, no.
You got this,
Hart.
Hart.
But it could be a friend. Please
Yeah.
help me.
Hart,
Please help me. Please
it
help
looks like it ate,
It
it
ate
ate the light.
It-
60
it-
feet wide. It swallowed them whole.
No, it only
Well,
swallowed one of the 4. He has Dancing Light's going to afford you 4 light sources.
4 light sources. How far apart from each other?
As far as he wants to go up to 60 feet apart. So
So
one of
how
them
far
went up.
did you have them?
They would probably had him at maximum because he was using it as a search function. But the nearest one to the ripple is the one that vanished.
Well, he can also
Yeah.
merge them together to make a larger light source as well.
Right.
Look at 15-foot mouth could swallow you.
And I will make like well the where the light is, it's safe. So technically, Heart can just stay with. I'm joking. Don't do it,
No,
Heart. I was messing around. Don't do it. It's a really bad idea.
Okay.
Unless you want to, and I won't stop you. But I'm saying you should.
I will stop them. Heart, you can't. Too many unknowns. And none of
That
Yeah,
us.
makes me
unknowns,
want to do
unknowns.
it because she's telling me not to.
Right. After the last argument about whatever you want to do, I'm going to not do, and all that kind of fun stuff. That was a tense
Yeah.
moment, and we don't have the tiebreaker
Okay.
now because Rocky's not.
Anyways, let's go move on then.
Are you sure, Heart?
I'm trying to be reasonable in the sense that
me a
neither
second.
of us have a way of going underwater to
It
try
would
to
be
help you.
unfair of me to go by myself.
Right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking
That's the
to
story, and sticking to it. That's a good.
It was open.
A very sound,
I'm gonna leave it right there.
rational choice.
Cool.
Why?
I applaud you.
it. Signs said I was very wise.
And the sign says
Yes.
very wise.
You did say something quite profound.
I tend to do that.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, not so much when we first found you, but I mean,
Wow. Here we go.
But
That's
now,
just because you weren't listening.
Sorry, okay, what happened?
well,
No, they're
Let's
still
say-
discussing it. The ship is lifting higher in the air, and what you see
Get
in
off,
that end of
Captain.
the end of that end of the lake looks like, for all intents and purposes, like some dread form of a turtle.
A turtle?
Yes,
Oh
monstrous turtle.
my god! Can I? Oh my god! Let it eat all the lights. I send the lights all to him.
Okay, that way you can see it more clearly. It is a dire form of a dragon turtle. It has a draconic kind of a head, but very angry. It's
Lots of spikes.
horns and spikes and curves and crenellations, and a huge snapping turtle jaw. And it just each of the lights, it snaps its head, and its head is on this long serpentine like neck out of its turtle shell, and puts the lights out one at a time. But it lets you see how truly, I mean, its mouth is probably 25 feet across, so it could swallow somebody whole. Easy.
So, Hart, do you still want to go down there?
What a terrible ask to make
Mm.
to me.
No, I just want to make sure.
oh, look,
All right, Captain, set off.
as soon as he saw a good glimpse of it, he knew.
You knew it was a
What?
friend?
No,
And in the also in the light, it did appear to be in the center of the lake. There might have been a tower rising. They didn't quite make it to the surface.
Is this turtle trying to prevent the tower from coming up or something?
about the only way to do that would be to drain the lake.
Oh no, I'm. Oh well.
Yeah, too bad there's
Oh,
not a
I'm sure.
party member in this group that could lower 600,000 gallons of water.
Yeah, not would be
minute.
so great.
I just,
right now.
yeah, we haven't converted gallons into square feet yet, but I think
These are all terrible things to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's head off. I tell the
Terrible
captain.
asks you have made.
Well, don't
Tell
let
the
them
captain.
don't let them make an ask of themselves.
Anyone
Let's tell the-
catching what I'm laying down?
No. I
No.
tell the captain you should.
Okay.
You can head up.
You can wait till you're airborne and then talk about it. So
Mm.
Okay.
okay, so you
In
guys.
the meta, just so you know,
Mhm.
terrible asks. A terrible ask.
Terrible ass.
Terror ask.
We're on the edge of Tra La Ra. We're far from.
Huh?
What is?
What? I
He's
didn't say
trying to give a
anything.
hint. Trying to give a hint of what that thing was.
It sounds like a dragon turtle.
I'll do
Well,
it
you
later.
wouldn't have a
Might be.
context, Gene.
Okay.
Your character would never have a clue of what a dragon turtle is. You as a player, you know, but you
I did
Valara
say
wouldn't
that
know.
we played
Okay, well,
D&D.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. But it was a big,
No,
ugly, big
no,
turtle.
you have never played D&D.
Valara did.
No, you did not.
okay.
Okay, we had
I'll
this
do it. I'll
discussion.
do it
Anybody
later
who
on. Don't
ever
worry.
played
I'll
D&D
do
would
it.
have loved to be here in Nycos. So
Yeah, it's
shush.
stuck like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Love, not
Night.
necessarily true when you realize the monsters are
No,
real.
no,
No, if you ask anybody who ever played D&D in their
I'm
life,
not I'm not letting more retcons like that.
Yep, 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 yep.
What's happening? Sorry, I was gone.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So we lift off and fly on across the lake and towards the next hex. And you go look at my map and my map. Do I get to keep my map? Yes, you get to keep your map. Alrighty. So moving away from this hex, you still can skirt the mountains and stay to the south of the mountains, going deeper into Tra-La-Ra, or you can stay above the forest area. The river is running down the course through the center of this space, and even from here you can see the smoke rising from several little encampments or towns in the area. It seems much more populated. Furthermore, just to the almost due west of you at this point, you can see the forestation starting to thin as it moves towards grassland.
Okay.
What is our approach to this hex? Going to stay north of the river, south of the river, or follow the river specifically, or are we moving towards the mountain, staying on towards the edge of the mountains, or heading closer to the ocean?
Stay on the edge of the mountains, over the forest. I think.
Okay. That keeps you on the north side of the river, and you'll pass near or over a couple of the encampments. What is your choice there? Are we going to go investigate the living forms in this area, or
Should have just kept on going.
Should just
I'm
keep
pretty
going,
hungry.
unless
Yeah.
there's anything specific that's going on.
well, the encampments look like loggers and foresters. They are basically chopping down the trees in the forests. It seems kind of, I guess you'd say, controlled in that they're only taking trees of a certain size, so it's not like they're clear cutting or anything like that.
Not deforestation.
Right. It's lumbering, and they're loading they're hacking off the branches and such, and putting the longer logs together in long stacks, and they don't seem to have a way to move them, but it looks like they're stacking them up as if they were going to try to move them at some point in the future. So they're bundling them or strapping them together.
Hey, didn't
There-
we need wood to build the room for what's for?
No, because right now the biggest problem is the depth of the ship won't allow for a room with any head height. And to build on top of the deck would not
interfere with the rigging, and the crew would not stand for that.
no. So
All right.
as it is, I look it, and that's the way it is.
All right. Let's keep on going out. I have no idea.
While we're traveling in this one, Hart is going to be taking inventory of the 3,000 pikes inside the blue box and trying to remove a bunch of the heads and saw off the holes.
Okay.
If he can get that cleared out, that would be a room to sleep in.
You're quiet, by the way.
We're all quieted down for some reason. I don't know if something changed on the settings, but
I'm here.
20 by 20 foot room. It's a good living room size.
Yep.
I'm here. I'm
Alright.
here.
I'll be right back.
She comes at the heart. Heart, have you ever thought of sheathing your feet in this metal so you would move faster?
Yes,
Why don't you make that one of your next projects?
it is, but I'm doing the projects that can help everyone first.
Okay.
Like the propeller that I finished.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yep.
You'll certainly increase the value of the ship too.
Well, it's to make it more of a mark if pirates came along. That's for certain. Not that there would be any of those in Tra-La-Ra or anything like that.
No, no.
No.
How many
Anyway,
princes? What? No.
No, we're not that close to the coast, are we? No, we're not that close to the coast.
Preposterous.
You're only 2 hexes from Blackwater, though, at this point, just so you know.
That's information I didn't need to know, John. I think you're expediting or whatever that word was.
Exacerbating.
Sure.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that
yeah.
thing.
Anyway, so like I said, you pass over the lumberjack farms. They'll see the vessel. They'll wave at you or whatever. Several of
Hart
them.
sticks over the side and waves, and then disappears.
You can see them kind of look kind of confused at each other, and then wave some more, and then go back to their work. But what was that? I don't know. But just
Keep them
waving.
on their toes.
Keep them waving. Keep them waving. Yeah. As long as they don't circle back, we should be fine. Yeah. As in one little town, particularly though, the some of the women when they hear about the coming of the vessel, actually run out into the courtyard and hold up big baskets of cloth. Huge bundles of really nice looking, brilliant colors.
Ooh, can we go down there? We can like.
Captain,
Yes.
what are they doing with the cloths?
Oh, they're offering them for sale. Sailing vessels require large chunks of cloth known as yards to coat the sails. That's how we maneuver.
Would improved yards increase our efficiency?
Well, no, but this will give us a chance to, if you will, sort of customize. Because if you notice, it's all the different colors. They're basically wanting to trade.
Ooh,
Okay.
I want to go for the blue one. A beautiful blue, bright blue.
I think you might prefer a light gray.
Yes, he's getting closer to gray.
What?
Or a yellow even.
Give him 48 more hours, guys. Give him 48 more hours.
Just because I like my my brandy in a special way.
No. No. I just have a distaste for blue lately. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It kind of is the elephant in the room.
Ah.
Well, the elephant that used to be in the room.
The elephant that could have been in the room.
That should never be in the room.
Should never be in the room.
What's the reference to?
We
How about a
can't
purple
say.
then?
We literally
Can we do-
cannot say.
We'll tell you later.
Can we do
He
purple?
who shall not be named.
Can we do like a
one of
royal
they.
purple?
Yeah, there's royal purple. There's deep indigo. There's
I
red.
like purple.
I like
Alright, we're
purple
gonna go
too.
with All right, we'll go with a royal purple.
So
So
Or we
what's-
could get multiple colors and weave them together.
No. Wait, the sails aren't woven; they're sewn.
Yes,
yes.
but you can weave them in different patterns together.
We can make a
weaving as in-
logo.
Joining fabrics
Is
together
this-
to form a pattern.
Is this clothing cloth or canvas for the sail?
I am referring to weave as in the term of creating a pattern out of different colors
We
instead
can
of
put
They
a
are-
we can
weaving
put-
as in the type of cloth.
Right, and
We
they, the traders, make a kind of canvas out of the lower branches and such of the trees here, because the trees here are so hardy that they pulverize the material and make ropes, and therefore, ropes, but a thread, and therefore can weave pretty stiff canvas out of it.
Can I say something? We can make heart symbol as our emblem on the flag on the ship, so that when we sail, you'll see the heart.
Embroidery.
Yes.
Well, they're not selling the thread; they're selling the cloth.
Oh,
Huge,
well, I'm saying
There's only the stuff you would make sails out of.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
saying
he's
we-
just saying he wants to add my symbol onto the sail like a pirate would add a skull and crossbones onto theirs.
Gotcha.
mm,
You
it'll
could
be an emblem.
you could definitely do parade like for that kind of a purpose. You wouldn't want to put them up on the sails unless you were going to use that as a national symbol, because that's usually what they put on the big flags, is their national symbols. And Hart hasn't yet formed his own nation. Not
We
that
Well,
are a
not,
nation of
he is a
three.
son of Inandara now, so
that's right.
well, a friend anyways.
He would put the flowery plant version.
Mhm.
Mm.
So yeah, well, I guess we'll get a colored one.
Okay.
What color would we decide on?
What are we going to trade?
Purple.
Purple.
What are we going to trade
Purple.
them?
I have money. I have money.
Okay. How much money are you going to spend?
How much does
Reason-
the sale
re-
cost?
Oh, probably.
How many loaves of bread do I need for a sale?
I was doing the math. Two silvers per 10 yards. Long.
And then
It's a
long-
very
long
small ship, so
Right. It didn't take
But,
much.
but remember, each sail, 10 yards is 30 feet long, but it has to go horizontal. So you're going to ask the captain how much yardage. he's
Wow.
gonna
All of a sudden,
use.
she's a naval expert too.
No, but ask the
ca-
captain.
Yeah, in
Ask
meta.
the captain.
In meta.
in meta.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask the captain.
It sounded like Valara was rattling that off. It's like, no.
Capitan,
Yeah. So.
how many yardage do we need for a new sail?
If we're looking for the brilliant colors like this, a parade set would be, let's see, 30, 60 yards.
What color would you like?
Ooh, big boom outside. Idiots are firing off fireworks again.
What is going on? It's every night.
Yes, because they're going across the border into places they're not supposed to go, and it's their way of exerting their will against the police force to say screw you on the curfew.
Okay.
It's San Bernardino. Who knows?
I think
San
it's-
Bernardino, as my GPS would say.
Nice.
What color would you prefer, Captain?
Oh, we kind of favor oranges and yellows, but we're under your command, so it'd be under your guys' choices.
Let me check the handy dandy chart.
Find out who won't offend them.
What's friends with orange? Green is good.
Green is always a safe color.
Black is good.
Well, green with your black logo would be okay for a parade set.
Purple is good with orange.
Yeah? Well, that'd be garish, man. That'd hurt your eyes.
Well, if it's a deep purple, you can get away with a yellow orange.
Yeah, royal blue is a royal.
Well, purple
is-
and orange get along okay. So, purple would probably be okay if we wanted to get purple. Orange is okay.
It also would carry the concept of storm sympathizers.
Yes.
So it
Why
would.
do you always have to put medium two colors? Damn it! Why can't it just be beautiful? Why can't it just be beautiful?
Because colors have meanings, damn it.
Doggone it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Let's go with a royal blue, purple.
You want a royal blue?
Royal Burple? I can get you some of that.
No, thank you. What's purple?
Do they have like waves?
She
of
says
blue?
no, thank you. What's purple?
Well, heart is like a goldenrod crystalline color. Already.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So,
You can get a golden.
he
get that
doesn't
yellow.
want to...
You can get the yellow gold and then put the green emblem on it, or the purple emblem on it. It'll take you a while to get that sewn in, but you got those fine working hands now, so you could actually start to work on needlepoint.
Let's go with the purple base, and then we'll add an orange onto it.
Okay.
Make it Halloween colors.
There we
That
go.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halloween's coming. We can all do costume decorations.
to
with
Halloween and
with
Nycos.
with what did we name the boat? What did they name the boat?
Enterprise.
No.
Serendipity.
It was the uh, uh,
Africa.
It's a word that's
Ever.
usually done with an S, but it was done with a th instead.
Enterprise.
Oh, that's right, Athman.
Yes, Athens. Hmm.
No, no, it wasn't that. What
No.
was it?
No one wrote it down, really.
I'm looking, but it's dark in here.
Turn on the lights. Use your light on your camera and your phone. I
There's
mean,
no light switch in this room. It's all in other
Arthund.
rooms.
Arthund. Arthund.
Oh
Arthund.
yeah, Arthon.
Arthund.
And I was saying arson.
That's it. Yep.
Arthon.
We got it right. Yep. I just had to go look at my notes. Good, good, good.
The Arthon with the purple sails.
Right. Also, in talking with them, you'll hear several of them will make mention of the fact that they know that you came the direction and wondered if you got a chance to meet Symes and Viren.
yes.
Oh, good. That is considered to be a omen of good things, good tidings. And
What?
the fact that you're able to bring that word to this town makes this town feel happy.
For what reason is it a tidings of good things?
Because their appearance heralds the return of good things. That probably means there'll be a caravan bringing us valuable treasures here soon.
Really?
They were not of now, were they?
No. No, but their appearance is a frequent thing.
Oh, thank God.
It means maybe you were sent for some positive mission or something. So
We are a ship of destiny.
yes.
Can I get some of that? Some of that, some blue, or some royal blue, because I want to make my hammock colorful and nice to lay on. And stuff.
Sure, it will only be a few coppers for that much cloth, because when they're measuring a yard, they're talking about the whole 30 wide.
Sweet. Thank you.
Do you buy spices for it by any chance?
They look at you with some suspicion. We do use some spices.
We found some spice.
Where did you find spice? Now, if you traded it from Symes, and then we might be able to deal with it. But if it's from somewhere else, you'll have to be more clear on where you got it.
Worm?
Yeah, we won't buy that. We don't recommend that you keep that very long.
What is it?
It's a contraband material that is said to open your eyes, but in reality, it rips off your eyelids, in a way.
What?
Once your eyes are opened by the spice, they can't be closed.
Wait, you like see the different worlds or something?
I don't even want to hazard a guess on what it does, but that's the rumor: is that once you have taken of the spice, your eyes are opened and they can never be closed.
Here is the mind killer.
Is this like the apple from Adam and Eve or something?
I
Sure.
don't know. I don't know who Adam and Eve are, and I'm not sure you would know who they are. So
No, I'm just saying in meta.
In meta.
yeah, in the meta, yes. This is a stripe. Remember, it had a boundary around it, and it's like kept for some reason.
Oh.
And then you went and killed a worm.
On a reservation, no less.
I know.
Hey, man,
On a
if it's
preserve. On a preserve.
Well, now we're making preserves out of it, but that's beyond the point.
Yes.
Hmm.
I didn't see any chummy nearby.
Hmm.
No chummy.
Anyway, so a purple sail.
Yep, a purple sail and a blue hammock.
Sweet.
Matter of fact, they'd sell you one of those. They'd already have them made.
Can
Thank
Hart
you.
get some emery cloths?
Sure, why not?
Get some claws to polish things.
Yep.
He could do with a good polish.
Cool.
A good polish.
Take the last of that broken enamel off and bring you back to a nice shiny silver. Other
No,
than
I'm now a crystal. Remember?
oh no, they have the platins are, but I don't know about the rest of the metal.
What
How
about
much does the? I
hide?
thought we got enough out of the V8 chips and stuff to form a full
Not a
carcass.
well, no, yeah, but it's replacing the plates, so that the actual armatures are still the black metal.
Hmm. Okay.
You know what's surprising here?
What's that?
Jean hasn't said a word about buying anything.
Shh. Don't awaken the
It's,
beast.
no, it's canvas for a ship.
Yeah.
You can't wear it.
Well, you could, but you look funny, and it would chafe like nobody's business.
Yeah, exactly. This stuff is as stiff as
I have. It's not a fun experience. It's cheap
safety.
material that sometimes they use for cheap costumes. So
Right.
no fun to be
No.
had.
No, especially if you have to do a lot of articulation. When I was in theater for a little while in school, we had canvas, and I was supposed to raise my arm and proclaim the arrival of the prince and princess or whatever. And every day that arm, I'd get this chafe right on the shoulder. Oh, it was awful. Right on the seam.
The worst is when you don't have an undershirt and it chafes the nipples. It's not.
That's
It's not a
pretty.
good. Not a good day.
That would not be a good day. It'd make it hard to sing with you having to breathe in and feel that. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It'd make you sound more thrilled, right? More thrilling in your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this?
Alrighty,
When is
so
it? It's
after-
tomorrow, Thursday. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, tomorrow's Friday.
Oh, okay.
And so, once you go back airborne and all of that, the gnomes do tell you that they do have some paints because they haven't painted the hull in a while. But they've got I think a couple of gallons of paint if you wanted to do a temporary design on your purple. And their vessel's basic hull color is kind of a yellow orange. If you've seen Yellow Submarine with the yellow and the tan,
Yeah.
that's kind of the coloration of this vessel.
Okay.
That explains a lot of that weird smell.
So that
Heart-
golden.
Hart will buy some gold paint.
Oh, cool.
That's basically yellow and orange. Just nicer. Goes better with purple.
Higher quality. Yep.
Yeah, Lim.
Well,
Acting-
actually, when it comes to heraldry, that's exactly what you would do. Is you use gold against a background.
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
it's called ore.
Or
Argent
is
and
the
silver,
French word
argent,
for-
or is gold.
And purple is closest to its name, purpur, which means it's kind of like indigo. It says its own name.
There you go. Anyways, so he will paint the symbol of heart.
With the leaves and everything from the elvish land across it.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, it's kind of just become part of the symbol that it's now a tree growing up in the middle.
Nice. Cool. Alrighty.
And the
So now you're
branches.
approaching that next hex where the grasslands appear, and it is farmed. You can see that there are individual farmhouses smattered about, fairly even distribution across the lands. Most of them are what do they call it? I want to say Wat and Dobble. It's the wood.
Wattle
with
and
the-
Dorb.
Yeah,
Wattle and Dob.
Dorb.
pronounced.
Dob.
It is not Dob.
Let's
it is
start.
Dorb.
Let's start a fight. Let's go. Now.
It's Dob.
But anyway, it's mud. It's mud over wood with
Whitewash.
It is weaved wood with
Mud.
mud and usually other things mixed in
right.
with a whitewash.
Yep, and then over the top.
Manure.
And
Dried manure.
And then it uses the woven roofs too. You lay the branches over them and weave them together for the top, for the roofs. And so that has to be done quite often. That part does. You have to keep doing the roofs over again. Remember what's the? Oh, in Highlander, there's a whole bunch of those houses.
Well, thatching.
Yeah,
They thatch them.
thatch roof. That's the word. That's the word I was looking for.
Thatch roof is using grasses. So when you cut off the wheat, you save the stalks and you use the stalks to bind together and
Yep.
make the thatching.
Yep.
Wow, you know everything.
No, I just know a bunch of little things.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Well, I was incorrect, but I think that's one of those times when I'm from a different dimension because I could have swore it was Dorb.
Oh,
What?
daub.
No.
Yeah, no, I was daub. DAUB. Because to paint is actually also called to daub, where you actually put the thick paint on in big blotches.
It's just Travis he gets wrong a lot of times. It's just we don't point it out.
Not a
I
lot
very,
of times.
very rarely get wrong, and when I do, I admit it.
As quickly as he can to try to get past it. I get that, and I do the same thing because I'm never wrong, so I never have to do that.
Did.
Indeed, indeed. So, anyway, so here the crops look like they might be. It seems odd, but they seem to be like rows and rows and rows of the same kind of grain. It doesn't seem natural. It's not like they're farming for their own purposes, but like they're farming for sale.
Amber waves of grain?
Yeah, but in the distance you see a large castle, a stronghold of sorts, out towards the middle of the expanse of this next hex.
Are
And
there any majestic purple mountains?
all around?
Oh.
But we're not in America. America's far south of here.
America.
There is America. There is down south.
Fuck yeah. Sorry. It's a song.
I knew you were going to say that. Yes, the Mercanians live far south of here, in a place called Merca. Mercan.
Okay. They got that American way.
Yeah, their national song is "I'm proud to be American."
And they say fuck yeah a lot.
No,
No?
no, they do that.
They
only...
do. They do have a lot of bear arms on their walls, though.
Nice bear.
They have a
Right.
right to them, they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right to bear arms.
Right to keep bear arms.
Mm.
No, they only have one set each because that makes it keep and bear's arms. That was awful.
Let's amend that and keep moving.
And moving on.
So there's like industrial fields here.
Yeah, it looks like they're farming for the castle. So suggesting possibly a peon noble
Fiefdom.
Fiefdom, exactly.
And
Which you wouldn't expect in Tra-la-Ra, but then again, you don't know that much about the area yet, and we haven't met any of their royalty
People.
or leadership or anything. So,
It's still
and you
not
were
going
warned.
to.
You were warned something about the council, but we are far from there. We're almost 100 miles from the council. So, and the council was back in it then. So,
it was back in a then?
yep, it was back in a then.
A then.
Yeah.
Huh. Did we pass through a storm wall?
Really?
Well, I
yeah,
know
that's
there
wake
was,
us
yeah.
up.
Well, I don't remember going when we got there that we went through a storm wall, but at the end there was certainly a storm wall.
Yep,
Yes.
Okay.
that's the easiest way to say it. Yes, you're exactly correct.
So, shall we keep on going?
So you're going to the castle? We're going around the castle.
Go around the castle?
Let's sail within eyesight of the castle
Okay.
and see what there is to be seen.
Okay. So the castle itself seems to be made out of stronger stuff than the Wattendobbles around it, and I mean obviously it would do that, but it looks like an old granite structure. The stones must have been dragged for quite a distance because you're pretty much in the flat of a plain where this thing is built. So the stones had to come from someplace. There's actually one major rise, if you will. It's not quite a road that goes directly north out of here towards the mountains beyond. So that may be where they came from. But there's looks like an ancient road might be there under the dirt and debris of the current pathway. There's no direct signs of it, but the road does seem to go pretty much a straight line for miles going northbound.
They have huge tracts of land here.
They do, but no swamps to be seen.
Yay.
Not a one.
That's
Right.
The castle walls are adorned with wreaths of flowers. The banners above it show basically a castle structure in the center of the emblem with a bolt of lightning passing through it.
Say that one more time.
The flags, the pennons, have a
Mm-hmm.
structure of a single tower, not this square block structure that you see before you, but instead one watchtower and a
Oh
bolt
god.
and a bolt of lightning behind it.
Okay.
Ugh.
And the flags are of a rather rich indigo color.
Hmm.
So what do we know about indigo? What's indigo? Oh, I know
Truth.
what indigo is. That's like my jeans.
Dreams?
Jeans. The pants I'm
Uh,
wearing.
Trousers.
I can't see your jeans. Jean?
She is Jean. It's self-defining.
Jean.
Technically darker than your jeans because indigo is
Right.
used to dye cotton blue.
Right.
Yes, I know, but some of the jeans that are fresh, not faded, are a deep indigo.
Or pretty dang close. Yes.
Pretty dang close. So that's why I said the color of my jeans.
Actually, looking at Hart's image right now because my camera, my screen after 9 p.m. goes to warm light or whatever to reduce the fatigue on my eyes. It makes your dark black background look indigo.
Ah, nice.
Excellent.
So you go from liberty to truth. Look at that.
Wait.
There's some truth in that.
Also, the garlands of flowers do include the brilliant yellow of the daffodils, which of course are natural north of here and east of here, and the deep crimson of roses, which is indigenous to the south.
Uh,
The bolt of lightning in heraldry represents a major change.
Are we gonna
So a
what?
yellow bolt in a indigo flag?
Hmm.
And a
Oof.
watchtower?
And the
Because
watch
it's only a single tower.
and the watchtower is what is it, Gene? What's the word for silver?
Proper.
What? No,
Oh,
that what's
it's argent.
argent, right? An argent tower in front of a
Yellow bolt of lightning.
would be ore,
Yeah, an or.
I poked it.
an ore bolt,
Okay.
Well, that's very worrying.
and it's bolt sinister. So the
For
tip,
every
so the tip
for
of the arrow,
everyone
the tip of the arrow is to the left.
for everyone to know, it's also that indigo and yellow are one of the few mutual hatreds.
Well,
Oh.
it's metals.
So it's a good thing we didn't go near it then,
Gold
right?
is not yellow. Silver is not white, though.
But
when you're
they translate to that when it comes to describing a map in modern English.
yeah.
So just let it go, Gene. Yeah, well, you and I both know that that's the true heraldry, but this is not Earth, and the rules don't necessarily apply exactly.
Okay.
But Travis
Originally, he described it as a yellow bolt
yep,
on
it
an
is.
indigo pennant.
Yes,
A
With
bolt
it,
of change coming to indigo, which is a almost a flag of war between those two.
right.
Because they are one of the most at odds on the spectrum.
One of the three that are like vehement, almost like the red black.
Yeah, they are the only ones that are, besides the three that are locked, are red and black and indigo and yellow. They're the only other two hatreds, like true,
Right,
both sides have chosen the other as their enemy.
right. So
Okay.
it's very telling that the yellow is the bolt across the indigo.
and sinister means something else too. It's a negative change.
Yes. So the bolt
We-
goes from the right corner to the left corner. That's called a sinister bolt.
Ooh.
Well, it's hard to tell if this is an indigo that wants. That is. Why would an indigo have this flag? But a yellow might have this flag if it's set
This
out to go
this
against indigo.
this flag may be older than the veils.
Hmm.
But either way, we're friends if we're wearing purple.
Right.
Because indigo likes time because it shows the truth in things, and yellow likes time because time changes
Time
everything.
causes everything to change. Exactly.
So we're good.
They might see you as being too slow to act in one case and too impetuous in the other.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't be all things to all people.
You can be if you're Green Veil.
Can be if you're prismatic veil.
Well, it's rainbow.
No. Differentiation.
Also, the prism actually sees them sequentially in order as necessary.
Well, then the prism would never show black, white, or gray.
Why?
The prism only reflects the breakdown of light, which goes from purple to red.
A prism, in a philosophical sense, interprets all colors, depending on the perspective of how they're
I'm,
seen.
I'm talking about
Also, when you talk
reality.
about prism light in particular leads to spectroscopy, which does have black bands across the light.
And if
And
you want to go,
white is the light
Okay.
without prismatic interference. The only thing
White
that
is-
could be argued would be gray, but gray is by definition that which is unlit. So
and white can
Gray
actually
is
be
just next to
contained as
black.
black.
Anyways,
Whatever.
philosophically, non
White
sequitur.
can be black scientifically.
I hear a bit of not sliding into this, so let's move on.
Not
Indeed.
is-
So,
It's not going to avail
What
you
do
to
we-
worry about that crap. Yeah.
do we see anything?
Well, it looks like
else
looks like a major party must be going on because those wreaths around the tower tops and stuff like that suggest that they must not be in any kind of state of war because there's all this looks like rejoicing going on.
What color are the flowers?
As I said, a mixture of yellows of the daffodils of the north and deep crimson of the roses of the south.
You think it might be a marriage ceremony?
More than likely.
Oh,
Though
we
I
don't
would
need to
expect whites if it was. Maybe not here, though.
Because nothing comes good out of marriage. Is that what you were going to say?
Well, it comes to not. I don't know.
It all depends on how you look at it, I suppose. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
No, nothing. Quiet. Go on. Move on. Not isn't here.
Ruba zoom zoom. We spin up the blades and get out of here.
Okay. So, passing.
Could I? Hey, John, to make it easy, could I maybe like roll? What would you say? Like percentage dice to see how many holes I could saw off their heads of,
What?
just to give some gist of how long it takes me to remove the heads off of all the
Albert.
glaives.
Oh, well, you got the torch, so you could actually pretty much cutting torch them in a few moments.
Well, I mean, I'm just sawing off the woods now. I'm not doing anything with the blades themselves. Just removing the wood from the blades so that we can empty the room.
Maybe 1 minute each. Is that what
Okay.
you're looking for? Something like that?
No, I just mean like, because I just assume that he's doing that in the off time when there's nothing else going on. So he just disappears into the
sure.
blue box and starts sawing away.
Sure.
Okay.
Blue box.
Probably by tomorrow you'll have them all cleared. About the same time, we have to deal with Freya's newfound wisdom.
Oh, lovely.
Mm,
Won't that be fun?
yeah.
Very.
Very. I'm looking forward to finding out what wisdom she has gained.
In the meantime, the festivities do include just outside the castle wall. You can see lists are set up.
This
Yes.
like wedding, like a wedding, like
Jousting for jousting. Knights,
oh,
knights on
there's
horseback.
literally what looks to be scaffolding that normally would be used to work on the castle walls, instead set up as makeshift benches for
Ooh.
viewers to observe. There's even a big purple box with golden with yellow strips of cloth along the edges, and
I
Yeah.
say keep on going.
the center box has a huge hemispherical gathering of cloth, bunched in towards the center so that it's got that round appearance, and across it is an oversized panel that is both a daffodil laying to the right and a rose. I'm sorry, daffodil laying to the left and a rose laying to the right. Their stems entwined, and a little bit of what looks like blood coming from the places where the daffodil and the thorny rose branch cross.
Oh,
What a very strange meeting this is.
they're related to
Captain,
blood.
Captain, what do you know about this place?
Tra-la-ra? It's normally, historically, it's been held by elves, but there have been a lot of changes since the arrival of the others. There's been a bit of a conflict across this zone for a while.
Oh, is the others living here now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, let's keep on going.
Okay. So sailing past the castle, you see knights jousting and the crowds roaring, and you see roast pigs on spits, and
Would you say that they are a crimson rose or just a red rose?
I clearly said crimson, the deep red.
Oh dear. That's sad. This is now a funeral. I had to check because I wasn't sure,
Uh-huh.
but I went to look up. I have a chart that I use because I often have to decipher poetry,
Uh-huh.
and flower meanings are always in poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So a daffodil can mean regard and unequaled love,
Mm-hmm.
but a deep crimson rose means mourning.
Yes, and it's to the right.
Cool.
I don't have directions on here, but yes.
Well, that's
A
you go
mourning, it would be
Gene-
mourning.
Gene can give you information on the left and right, because Dexter to the right means something a lot different from Sinister, which is to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it would basically be meaning if they're using flower language of
Right.
mourning an unequaled love
For
lost.
example, a bar sinister on a heraldry, a bastard.
Oh, I think someone came back.
And Jacob's back? Nope.
I'm right here.
And now you're
Oh,
back.
there he is.
There he is. Woke up. Or came back, one or the other.
The prodigal son.
The dwarf finally gets over that overeating binge he was on.
Food hangover.
Oh gosh, he's never
He
going.
was in a carb coma.
He's never going to want to look at another bowl of chowder for the rest of his life.
I bet it was one of those like clam chowder,
the
like
itis.
bread bowls, and
Yes.
with the pastry over the top.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Exactly.
saying he had the itis?
And then you had garden salad, you had a gazpacho,
I
and
hate gazpacho.
I didn't have gazpacho. I didn't
you
bring
did.
it. No, I said that's when you have gazpacho.
Oh, it was that time.
oh, when? And then
Aperitif.
strawberry crepes for dessert, and he had
And a beer.
A real beer,
A Schlitz.
an American beer.
Merca.
American beer. Schlitz, a fine old company.
We sipped our Schlitz.
Slit or slit.
We sipped our Schlitz. while we- Yep,
We sipped our Schlitz while we sits on ships.
and kibitz and fits.
We
Not his
sit
thumb.
on ships and sip our Schlitz. Schlitz.
I got you. Sip on sits. Okay.
It's getting dark.
Sit on ships and sip our Schlitz.
It's getting really
And
dark.
kibitz on fit.
Okay.
Kibitz and fits.
Kibitz and fit.
The next square foot of light.
Curse you not!
Exactly. Well, the good thing is that that nothing bad happened till the end of the episode.
See, the truth of not spell is that it doesn't just distract, but it also makes friendships deeper so that nothing can come between us.
Oh,
We always invite nothing between us in our relationships.
okay. What about? Are we gonna wait next week or something? Or
No, we still have time, don't we?
We have a little bit more time, but that you guys were bypassing this, and so I was just enjoying the last few minutes of the party down below you to try, because you guys were trying to analyze. Okay, so why would they be holding a festival of lists in a morning situation?
They would.
because they took over the capital?
Uh,
Well, definitely the bolt symbol suggests a regime change. That's true.
Maybe they're combating for the hand in marriage of somebody who doesn't want to be.
Somebody who's no longer married because their spouse died or their
Hmm.
betrothed died, which leads
do
us to the
we?
whole Onan conversation from a couple days ago.
Hmm?
Mm.
I wonder how that got into my head.
I
Who
don't know.
knows?
We'll move on.
We'll blame
She
Stephen.
was as curious as anything to know why and what. And
Yep.
Shouldn't you be concerned with that they have a Christian marriage or something? Because you're so religious?
her religion is personal.
I know, I'm just teasing you, Gene.
Yeah, I mean,
He's tried to find the bottom of that chain so he could yank on it. That's all that was.
ah.
Okay,
So if you say it in game, she says, my belief is personal.
he doesn't even know you're Christian nor the meaning of Christian.
Okay.
Nor, frankly, the meaning of religion either, but who does?
No, that when he hears people talk about religious stuff, he pats them on the head 7 times. Okay, yes, very nice. Good for you. Let's move on.
Lovely philosophies. Pretty poetry.
Yep. Alrighty. Going southward, you see less and less of the daffodils of the north, and a lot more rose bushes.
Oh.
The roads
Alright.
also become much more straight and defined, and the fences between the farms increase in depth and height as well.
Are any of them white being painted red?
Any white being painted red? No.
Roses.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, good point. No. I get where you're going there. No. However, the Watt and Dobble in some of the houses is being painted red. No,
Oh.
not red. Not painted red. Painted yellow.
Yellow.
Hmm.
So the daffodil was to the right, correct?
No, the daffodil is to the left.
So that's sinister.
I'm late. I'm late. Sorry.
Actually, looking at it, it would be on the right side. But as you display it to others, well,
No, how he described it is that the daffodil is laying to the left and the rose to the right,
Right.
but the thorny vine of the rose is entangled around the stem of the daffodil, causing it to bleed.
Right, actual blood. Little droplets.
It means mourning is gripping the yellow place in a stranglehold.
Yes, and here in the red, it's on the lower end. It seems like they're rejoicing in the change.
Yep.
okay.
Either way, 'tis a silly place.
Yes, and you didn't engage with them, so you drift over their homes and stuff. And they're, quite frankly, they might be used to cargo vessels going over, but apparently nobody thinks to stop here or whatever. So they only deal with their local issues, and they're not paying any attention to you guys as you drift over.
Well, they've got
Okay.
enough to deal with, apparently.
They apparently have a lot going on around here locally, dramatically. So,
Thematically,
and you guys did a fine job of avoiding a huge red herring that could have been.
well, the whole thing was red.
Uh-huh. You read it well.
Well, we figured out the story before we went, so.
Yeah.
Now, if the roses were being painted red, then I would understand stopping because,
Yes,
of course.
Of course. Yes.
We're late for a very important date.
No time to say hello, goodbye. Wait a minute.
We're late.
And when I wave, I lose the time I save.
Mm.
All right.
Where's that rabbit going?
So that was that actually I described that slightly wrong. You wouldn't have noticed that much of a change per se, because you traveled east to west across the kingdom and is divided north to south. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. And you guys did a fine job of describing the change. And you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. And you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. And you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did a fine job of describing the change. So, but you guys did
Yeah.
Mm.
I overplayed perhaps the amount of yellow paint to the south. Because
Well,
That's fine.
either way, if we're going diagonally across hexes, they
right,
would extend.
right, right. The next choices will be an open plains hex where there doesn't seem to be any fences anymore. As a matter of fact, you can see where some fences have been broken down. And to the south of that is again a return to being over the forest.
Oh, I
Travel
see. We're
across
at,
the
we're right
plain.
under the lore of Laura,
We're under
right?
the we're right under the O of Lowell. Yep.
Okay.
It might be possible that we could pick up fresh meat if we drop down low enough, and I can shoot
Why
something.
do we need to do that? Oh, right. Flesh bags.
Well, fortunately, you remember you lardered for a 3-month
Oh,
trip.
yeah, but
You
fresh meat
you
is
you
so
may
much
you may
better than.
yearn for fresh meat, but that would take time away from your direct travels to go into that
Didn't you just eat 2 days ago?
monstrous meal 2 days ago. Well, actually, and you had chowder yesterday too.
Yeah.
Yep.
But more importantly, when you wake up this morning, Freya is dead.
Hmm. Why can't like people talk to you in normal manners? They always have to like be fancy.
Dear God.
Well, they don't get to talk very often, so
Do you think it's a delayed reaction for her being dead before?
Or you're all
I gue-
looking at her body, and all of a sudden she shocks sitting straight up, like nothing happened.
Hey guys, what's up?
Art's going to scan her for life signs.
All right, she has them now. She didn't 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes
You
ago.
you were dead again.
It's a habit of mine. I'm sorry.
A habit of yours? Well, there's usually a reason for it. But laying down on your bed and
But the reason was that the guy said I was going to be deaf and have a conversation.
Hey,
oh,
Floyd,
Mm.
why would my friend die?
I get to speak. We get to take over the world.
You mean
Save.
save?
Destroy the world.
Say
Great.
saw
Burn the
saw
world. Burn the world. No, no.
saw slave. Say slave.
Slave the world.
There we go. We're pretty close there. Especially because you don't have a tongue and you can't do the L.
Yes.
Save the world.
Slave the world.
I gotcha. You can't say the word slave.
You can't say any words then.
It's a joke.
well,
I
okay.
know.
Okay,
Now,
what'd you want?
Our friend keeps dying.
Oh.
for no explainable
How,
reason.
how, how, how fortunate for me. Can I
What up,
see?
Floyd?
Can I see her
No,
die?
she's alive again.
Damn it.
I know. It's very
I could have
frustrating.
done so much. I could have done so
that-
much.
That's kind of Freya. She never makes up her mind.
Oh,
Dead, alive, stealing, not stealing, magic,
okay.
freedom,
Nice. Nice.
terrorism, arson.
It's not terrorism if I'm having fun.
It is to everyone
Well,
else.
did you have fun dying?
I don't know. Let me find out and I have to think about it.
Well, when you come out, when you awaken this time, you realize that you're thank God alive, and you realize that your death some time ago um, was a bit confusing because let's do this. We have just a few minutes left. This morning, when you were right around midnight, when the third day actually arrived, you heard a voice say, "Wake up, little one. Wake up, little one."
Bong,
Huh?
bong.
There's a
Daddy?
woman. There's a woman standing above you. She seems eerily familiar to you.
Mommy?
Why, yes, my child. Please arise. We have much to talk about, and we haven't much time.
Okay. 5 more minutes, please.
So
Get up. I
so
get up.
so when you get up, you leave your body laying on the ground.
Well, that's a new experience.
Yes, we only have a few hours. I need you to see some things.
Okay.
You are here so close to the end. I need you to see the results of the end so that you can understand the beginning.
Okay.
And the two of you, she literally walks over the side of the ship, offering her hand to you.
I take her hand and walk with her.
Okay, so you walk off the side of the ship and you walk north, and you feel the wind against your face, meaning that you're moving at quite a rate of speed. The ground beneath you becomes mountainous, and you feel the crispness of the air, the sharpness of the breeze, and it blows right through you. So I mean, quite literally, and so the coldness reaches deep into your bones, and you feel the the, 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 the coldness of being dead, the the, the,
Oh.
the realization of your demise. And she says, "We are here at the edge of the beginning of the end, and you need to see what happened to our people." And as you come over the edge of the ridge and look down into the valley, you see a full-on, full-scale war going on between winged elves with oddly shaped heads. Their ears, at distance, they look like elves, and as you get closer, you realize their foreheads are bulging into twin insect like eyes. Their lower chins have been replaced by mandibles, and they still have their perfect Eldrin ears, which is really creepy. They look almost like antenna off the sides
Can
of their
I
head.
like throw up but not throw up?
Sure, you want to be sick, but you can only dry heave as you're watching. But
Uh,
they're being attacked and serially destroyed one after the other by a race of giants on Griffinback. And so the combat is almost all in the air, and the Eldrin are putting their sharp little swords into a few of the giant kind who plummet to their deaths, but for the most part, they're outnumbered almost 5 to 1. And it's a butcher. It's a butchery. They're just killing what's left of the elves.
it's a man's laughter.
Yeah.
What? What am I looking at?
That is the end of our people. Since you are now in Indara, you are protected from this, but this is the demise of our people had it gestated within you.
So I saved myself by becoming into army?
Hmm.
Oh well, that's good.
But this is important. The reason why I had to show you this is that you are now preparing to enter a dangerous part of the path because you will be entering our homelands soon.
Uh-huh. So I
And
I need to
your
watch out.
and your rank as a princess, as we originally defined in your character's write-up, will put
Oh,
you at great risk of wishing and desiring to return our people to their greatness, and that will be folly.
is there anything that we can do or can I do to?
I I suggest you consider and meditate upon this vision, and to make it more clear to you, let me introduce you to one, and it leads you to the front of the pack of the flying angels. And the angels, I mean the angels, flying elves. The Eldrin all have insect-like bee wings, flying frantically, but at the lead is a lithe and very speedy butterfly. It's a black butterfly with wings that bear, when the wings are fully open, the appearance of a skull on the wings. Combined, the two wings together make the face of a skull. So as it flits about, you can't always see it. But this thing is the only one that's actually holding its own against the Goliath cavalry, and it is dancing around them, and it keeps calling for Kodar, demanding Kodar come to the battle to face his end for his betrayal. of his friend, the uh, Dayan elf known as Shadow.
Stalker.
No,
Sorry.
Shadow. 1A. No
And I,
Shadow. He says
uh,
that is the one who is our who was the cause of our downfall, and he is your greatest threat as you enter the Wilderlands.
yeah, he's gonna be alive.
I think now that you've crossed the barrier, you start to understand life and death are not so far apart.
Especially for me at this moment.
That's right. And so,
3 rolls of the dice.
3 rolls of the dice. That's it. And now let me return you before your friends awaken because we don't want to cause them any undue stresses.
Can
And
I
you,
ask you something?
sure,
Is there a way to undo what's happened to my people?
that is the folly of Shadow. That
All
is
right.
that is a danger you don't want to follow, my daughter.
Okay. All right, and I say okay,
And then
thank
you
you.
then you wake up on the deck.
Can we take it like a whole like circle away from the next axis?
Say that again.
Yeah, I say, can we go around the next axis, the mountain, the territory we're going?
Yeah, you're not going on. You're not going to be passing over it.
Okay, cool.
That
I'm
was
just
to the
seeing.
north of you. That's why I took you north to show you. If you look on the map, all those gray hexes.
Give me a
That
second. Give me a second.
here, I can share it. I can share it. Make it quick. Just a second. That share screen. That those gray hexes. That's where the war fought. Where the battle was fought.
And
It's
where are we?
still ruins. You are here, or just getting ready,
Oh,
just ready to pass into either this hex or that hex.
and she took me all the way up there, and
Yeah.
that's happening right now.
No. No.
It's happened a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
This was a ghost of Christmas past. Fundamentally,
Ah,
you will be visited twice more before your visions will be complete.
for us?
Yeah, for reals.
Okay. All right, I'll at least be wiser, I guess.
She prays so, but I will not see you again, my daughter. Be safe. Remember your promises and protect your people.
I will.
All right. And so you wake up back on the deck, so now you can discuss such things with your friends. It is unfortunately now 10 o'clock,
Okay.
so we will have to end this. And let me go end the stream. Thank you guys for watching and being a part of this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again the next time. Remember, we're on every day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we get to get an extra session in. So everybody say bye!